Welcome to the Pixel Response Podcast.
That sounded pretty good. Yeah.
Hopefully that works. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome back.
Yeah.
We're here. We did it. I'm Big Beef, and with me is Cheddar Cheese.
Yeah, that's me. Welcome to Movie Monks. What is it called now? The Pixel Response Barrel?
No, just
the
Pixel
Burning
Response.
Barrel.
Fun fact, I don't know that you know this. I got pixel-response.com back.
Oh, good.
So
that was such a weird, annoying thing that happened.
So whoever was squatting on it, I guess, let it lapse or whatever. I was able to get it back for like a normal price, what you would normally pay for a domain.
Not an extortion amount. Yeah, okay.
I can't remember what they were asking for. I think it was like $3,500 or something. It's like, no, that's okay.
You do not realize how...
You do not realize this is me just like putting up blog posts every now and then. Like, I gotta
get on that internet bubble, get some lemon juice. It's like, no, that's not our website.
It's a little bit of a bummer how much SEO was lost though, because like Google at that time back then, like we were in their algorithm and stuff, but like now if you look up Pixel Response, it just brings you up like TV response times and hertz. And,
oh no.
Yeah, that's a bummer, but I don't know.
That's how it goes. It's a tough game out there on the internet streets, and that's why I hide from it for long periods of time.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's me, Nathan. I'm the cheddar cheese, white cheddar, as I'm mostly known due to the pallor of my skin.
Sure.
Which can burn easily, so I'm hiding inside. I'm not going out there.
Also, more tangy than sharp is how you feel.
Yeah, kind of an old cheese. It's good for nachos, I find.
Yeah.
Just gives a little extra something, but my wife does not like cheese of that manner, but she likes me, so that's where the name falls apart. It's not great.
Weird. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know whether we should like catch up on major life events or just fun stuff, because I have both.
Yeah, no, I feel
in my book.
Yeah, I have a feeling we'll do both probably. It's been a year roughly. Not the last one of these that we've done, but the second to last one was the Nagoya basho last year, which is going on now. So
I saw it was in July was the feed or whatever, but I guess we're probably talking about the end of that tournament, whereas we're early in this one.
We're within a year, though.
How sumo has changed in the last 12 months. I don't remember who was still battling.
Well, I mean, one of the greatest fucking competitors ever.
Final
yeah, he left.
Okay.
So one of the best ever left in that time.
So there's been a bit of a power vacuum. Trophies going all over the place. But
that's why nobody can choose Terrano, because it's like
it's not a guarantee.
Well, he's these last couple bashos, he's shown that he's human. He's definitely had some chinks in that armor show a little more than before. But for a while there, it's just like, oh yeah, he's way better than everybody right now.
If his knees hold up, he'll probably win. But some pretty low winning tournaments, like 12-3 tournaments in a row. I was wondering if we'd get an 11-4. Which would be the lowest I've ever seen in the top division. I've seen Jurio go that way so many times, but it usually doesn't happen at the tippy top. But, 12-3 is respectable, but that would not win you a trophy for several years there during the Asasoryu Hakuho era. That would not cut it.
For sure. It's a weird kind of lull in stuff that's been going on. Asano Yama coming back is kind of interesting, but like it's going to be a while before we see him face opponents of his caliber in general. So he's kind of just beating up on children.
This is allowed to fight tourney, so down. And
he's been fighting. There's like some videos of him just like in Sandanme, just like a dude runs at him and he just like fucking throws him. It's like, this is actually just sad.
This some guy from Russia is like 18 trying to fight him. Yeah. Okay. I guess I should probably dig through but Sundanme, I don't know where I'm going to get those.
Yeah.
So whatever.
They've been one of those things that like Nato Sumo had some in their Makushita, just general, like he just tacked it on. So I think you're just going to have to dig a little bit to find those specifically.
Just like, well, there is something of interest happening down there, but yeah. What happened to that tall guy, like Hoku Seiho? Is he on his way back up, or what happened?
I don't know.
Because I was all hyped for like, oh, he's like 6'6", he's gonna be great, and then he like tweaked his ankle on his very first fight, and that was it. I was like, all right, I'm okay. I guess he's in Juryo now, and that's like maybe he's not even there.
No, he isn't.
He's sunk below that.
I think he's in Juryo right now. He's Juryo 13 West.
All right.
So
I guess I could tune into the Juryo videos, but I've kind of been skipping those for a while too.
I skipped those, yeah.
I used to care more because some of my, like Chiyomaru was down there. There's always Enho if he's going to figure it out. But he's kind of been wallowing in that area, so he's tiny. He's like shorter than I am. So
yeah. The world of sumo has been weird in the last year since we last talked. There's been weird vacuums here and there for sure.
Still fun though.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. So what happened at the end of that year? I quit my job in September.
I think shortly after we last talked.
Yeah.
Like not too long after. Yeah.
So that finally just couldn't handle it. Wandered off. And that wasn't supposed to last almost a year, but it has. I still don't have a job.
Time goes quickly, for sure. But
for a while there, some fun stuff was eating up the time. Like I played all of Bloodborne and all of Dark Souls 3.
Yep.
Like and by all of, I guess I mean I got all the achievements and stuff. Like there's probably little things I missed. But
I think if you got all achievements, you've done more than I think a lot of people in those games.
It's trying to lead you to all like the good content. So
yeah,
I know in Bloodborne there was like a multi-part side quest I kept screwing up with like that little kid and her parents or whatever. Yeah. I would always like miss a juncture or be like, oh no, you had to go back and talk to her at night before fighting the thing in the church. And it's like, oh, I guess I didn't do that. No, then it's done. You can't do it on this playthrough.
That one in particular is one of the ones that's kind of janky to just do in general.
Well, I got her the music box and I went to the thing and it's like, okay, but you didn't do this and this, so you won't find the bloody handkerchief or whatever. It's like, oh, okay. I don't even think you can solve that one. Like, I think that kid dies. There's no way to save them. So, I don't know. Just gloomy. I think that's right up there, though, for that whole thing for me. I haven't played the hotness. I've kind of figured out I can't.
Elden Ring?
Yeah, I don't know that our PC could hack it right now, so we got to upgrade again.
Yeah, I'm actually on the upgrade train myself. Not because, like, I can still play things okay, but it's chugging in a way that scares... Every time I boot up a game that's, like, recent, it scares me a little bit of, like, is this going to be the one that blue screens me or whatever?
We've been having some weird, like, it's like the display crashes, and not even in like the most hardcore games. Like Brittany is playing Nier Automata.
Yeah.
And if you have everything at a certain settings or HDR lighting or something, we're not sure what it is. Periodically, it'll just go, oh, wait, no. And then your monitor goes blank and says no connection. Oh. And it's like revving up fans and stuff. We're like, oh, and then we have to turn it off. So don't know. It might be drivers. It might be something else. It did that to me during Disco Elysium, though, which is not a graphically intense game.
Right, yeah.
But I had to turn down a bunch of stuff on that. It's just you can barely notice because it's like, wow, there's not dynamic shadows or something now, but
sure,
it's an overhead adventure game, so it doesn't really impact the experience.
Not a huge deal, yeah.
But yeah, no idea what it would be like during like a handshake of things or like transferring control back to you after a cutscene or something would just kind of make it do something and bloop.
Oh, okay.
So, PC mysteries. Yeah. But I played more of that yesterday. I was kind of wondering if I was off that train because I found another game I was really enjoying, but I played a good 5-6 hours of Disco and finally made some serious progress in the story. I got really hung up on, like, there's sort of bottlenecks in the narrative structure or whatever, where it's like this event needs to happen now. And I was really trying not to be racist. I didn't want to be. It's not really cool right now. I mean, be that way
right now. Sure.
Up here in Canada, to be clear, down in the United States, it's getting cooler and cooler every day. So it's a little weird. Yeah. Depends which state you're in, I guess. Just kind of look outside at the flags and what you're seeing. Yeah. But so it's getting a little weird up here, but I still didn't want to do that. But I think I had to. It was like you need to internalize this belief in order to talk to this jerk. It's like,
okay,
all right, I'm going to put this dicey ball of thoughts in my brain. Like there's kind of slots that you can put like core beliefs or thoughts into your head.
Oh, okay. So it's like wearing a mega hat or something because you need to
kind
get
of,
the
but
combo.
in your brain only. Like you're not right. Virtue signaling to those people, but it's like happening in my brain. And I was like, all right, I'm going to put it on, go talk to this guy, get past this thing, get him to help us out. And then I'll forget it. I'll get rid of that. It's like rooted in there. It's like you need to hit a certain experience threshold or something in order to forget things and free up the slot again. So I'm just like, oh, I hope I don't say something real stupid. And like some of the options that are coming up now are a little like, I don't want to say that. That's not a really good thing to say. So it's making it more interesting. I'm pretty sure I stayed away from being misogynistic, but it's creeping in too. It's just like, hey, do you want to be a fascist? No, I don't think so. That's another one.
Like, wait,
all right.
Is there an achievement associated with it? Actually, maybe.
I bet there are for a lot of these, but it's just like, ugh. Like this is already a pretty like dark and aggro game. It's like this character that really hates themselves, so I don't want to put too much negativity in it, or else it'll just emanate that whenever I play it.
Yeah, super fair.
Not right now. I'm still riding the line. It's okay, but yeah, it's kind of just an adult adventure game with like you're this like train wreck character who has amnesia like a lot of RPG characters do, but in this like really bad way, where it's like, what did I do last night? Oh no, I did so many terrible things, and you're slowly finding that out. But you used to be a good cop, like tons of cases solved. You could have been promoted to captain, but you keep turning it down to stay in the field and solve things for people.
So it's kind of like Memento-esque in that way?
Kind of. Okay. Like you'll go along and like just see evidence of something you did, or it's like, wait a minute, this is my car that I crashed. Awesome. Hopefully we can get at the stuff inside. But yeah, it's been interesting still, but I can't imagine streaming that game for people. It's like you're reading a book for people or something. Like it's not very showy at all. It is all like dialogue sitting around. Do people stream like visual novels for people?
Yeah.
Is that
yeah, to the point where like Japan hates that. Like Japan has started really being like, you can't stream the end of this game if it's story centric and stuff. Japanese developers.
I know the Persona games were kind of doing that, right? Like, yeah. It's like this scene is blocked. You can't show this.
The latest one is at Final Fantasy Strangers in Paradise or whatever. That like Final Fantasy Origins game that came out. That's made by the Neo team, if you know what I'm talking about. That also had a stipulation of like you can do the final boss, but you can't show the end, sort of thing. Yeah. There may have been a donkey video about this game, but I don't know. I'm sure there was
character. Yeah. But okay, that's how things are blowing. But I always just play stuff by myself anyway, so I'm just like to the point where like Brittany's in the room and she's not like, this is like, what is even going on? I'm gonna leave. It's like, yeah, I guess I'm going to the office. Like,
I'm going to leave.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird, angry conversations happening, but it's like, no, it's, we're trying to work through it.
So yeah. Okay, we definitely talked a little bit about this on TDP, but
yeah,
this is a different conversation, so I need to know some more specifics. can you get to the point where, like, if you weren't just like a young white dude, you would be offended by the things they say? Because nothing can really offend us, like, really.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying. Well, I mean, you might want some, like, trigger warning type stuff on some of the conversations people are happening, or like the interior, like, self-destructive nature of some of it. Like,
yeah,
I think my guy's probably on the verge of suicide, or like committed something the night before, or might be in a dark place with that. So if, you know, like, that's sort of resonating with, like, me right now being like an unemployed, worried person. It's like, oh yeah, give me that dark stuff. You know, I'm okay with it. But yeah, it's a bit playing with fire or something, but it has a fascination to it. But yeah, I'm not going down the darkest avenues, but then I'm still trying to be like an interesting, edgy character. But now my character is like self-conscious that he's just really boring. Like, it's just like, oh, every time I'm like given a cool thing I can do, I choose like the lamest option. Like, it's almost like criticizing my play style. And
that's
like,
kind of cool. I like that.
It's like, why do you have so many points in drama if you're not going to do weird stuff? It's like, I guess so. You're right. I should get weirder. So I like change my clothes and starting to say a little meaner things to people. But yeah, it's odd the way it's like, you're basically navigating a really simple murder case, but it's how you talk to people and yourself that's like changing the landscape of it. So I don't know the replayability or not. Like, I guess you have knowledge that you don't as you go on, so you could use it in different ways, go to different places or something. But
okay, sure.
At this point, I'm probably just going to try to get the most out of my one playthrough and see how that sits. Before I start going for you were the most fascist person ever achievement or whatever. So, yeah. I guess that would change how other people are interacting with you to the point where I don't know if you can solve the mystery, but maybe. But yeah.
Sure.
Well, I guess let's pivot to different, like, life experience. Why not? Let me see.
Sure.
Here.
So, obviously, been feeling pretty good.
Wrestling.
Been feeling pretty good not working, I'm sure. No problem.
I guess so. I ran into some rocky stuff early in the year. There was a big, so there's this virus going on.
The monkeypox. I've heard of it. Yeah.
The monkeypox. Yeah. It wasn't really monkeypoxing in January to my knowledge. So I just got that boring one. I got COVID.
You did get, wait, did I know this? I don't think I did.
I'm not sure. I was kind of being cagey about it because certain people within my family tree would be really chody. At that point, honestly, if they found out.
Honestly, everybody on both sides is super chody about it. Like, I don't know. COVID has become one of those things where, like, everybody on one side has an answer of what you can take and how it's not that big of a deal and not important and it's fake news and all that stuff. And then the other side will look at you like a pariah, like, well, weren't you wearing your mask? Weren't you doing, like, both sides of this thing have been absolutely fucking insufferable. So I think I've
gotten to, kind of fatigued middle ground where, like, if I'm not actively coughing and sneezing somewhere, I'm not going to put a mask on, but I'll probably not go out if I'm doing that.
Well, that's the thing is that, like, I go to work and then I don't go out. So, and I don't wear a mask at work because nobody wears a mask at work.
Okay.
But I also don't do anything except sit at my desk. So, like
we went to a horror convention a couple weeks ago and like I wore a mask for like 3 minutes or something and was like eventually like, I think I'm just like being a jerk or something by wearing this right now. Cause like I'm surrounded by people. Almost nobody else is wearing one, so it's not going to really matter. Like, I'm just kind of signaling, like, you guys shouldn't do this, but I'm here also, so it didn't feel like I had a good ground to stand on.
I think...
Like, I also found the lure of horror movies too captivating to not come here, so...
I think you have to just do what you're comfortable with. Like, that's why I don't begrudge people for wearing a mask if they want to, and I don't begrudge them for not... Like, if I go to a convention, I'm probably going to wear a mask just because I hate being sick, period. That's really it. But, like, I don't care if people don't. It doesn't bother me. Like, I think some people think it should bother me.
I've stopped noticing it more. Like, I used to be like, what's this guy doing at the grocery store? What a weirdo. And it's like, now it's like, like most, maybe they're quadruple, maybe they're not at all. They're just buying some hot dogs too. Like,
that being said, if somebody's like coughing and sneezing and they don't have a mask or something, then I'm pissed.
I was pissed at a guy at the Costco in like the vitamin aisle, just like hacking up along. And it's like, you should probably stay at home.
Like, Asia's really realized this for generations, where if you're sick, you wear a mask. And it's fine.
7 years ago, we were in Japan and there were masks here and there, like good percentage of them, because it's just a polite thing. And
it wasn't a political thing. It was just, we have to coexist on this tiny island together. Like, it's just common knowledge
with that. Yeah,
it's common knowledge. If you can maybe spread a disease, do what you can to not.
Jerk. Yeah.
Like
sort of.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I kind of was cagey about it. We survived, I guess. We didn't get lungs full of pus or anything.
Well, I had COVID last year as well.
Yeah.
No, 2 years ago. 2020.
I probably got the Omicron variant. Which one did you get? That Delta?
Whatever the 2021 is. I got it in summer of 2020.
Oh, that's probably OG. Something I was hearing was like Delta was the worst. So maybe you got the OG.
So what happened with me is that that's when I was I wasn't working and I was just kind of chilling sort of thing or whatever. I was also like, we can talk about that too. I was super in a deep depression, like wanted to die most days. But that was honestly 2020 was kind of nice for me because there was a weird solidarity in that we're all miserable. And like that helped me get through a lot of weird personal misery that I was in. So that was kind of cool. Anyways, my sickness was, I didn't even know I had it because I didn't go anywhere. Erin tested for it because she was working. She was doing some stuff at like a clinic or something. So she had to go in. And she tested positive. I didn't even do a test because I lost my sense of smell and taste and like nothing else.
You knew, hey?
Yeah.
That's like that fun symptom that I'm not sure I got, like to the point where there was a night where I was like, maybe I have it. So I was like grabbing cayenne pepper and going like, and it's like, wait, it burns. So does that mean I can smell? Like, it was just like, I would normally never snort this anyway. So I don't know if this is a new sensation or not. But it wasn't the defining thing for me. I was mostly.
Did you cough?
Like, what did I get? I got the diarrhea. Got that one.
Yeah.
I was coughing a bit. Had the fever early on.
Okay.
And then was I fatigued or just having terrible sleeps and stuff? I don't know.
Right.
But I was basically just in bed watching Bob's Burgers for a while.
I had a cold this year that was like one of the worst sicknesses I've had in a while. And I tested multiple times. Just straight up cold, and it fucked me up. So, like, I don't know. It's one of those. This is definitely not a thing that people should take too seriously because it's anecdotal. Your
mileage can vary.
My time in COVID was almost just like I tried eating some spicy chips, and all I got was a burning sensation instead of flavor. Like, that was the worst COVID did to me. I couldn't enjoy my spicy chips I had. And
man, that's horrible.
And a standard cold I had took me out for a week out of work and like knocked me on my ass for days. So,
that's the thing. Like, of the things that have happened, I don't feel COVID was the worst ailment because I had shingles. Like,
dude, shingles is way worse than I think. Well, like. Rest in peace to anybody who died from complications due to COVID. That's obviously worse. But from what I've read and stuff about shingles is fucking horrific.
It's just a sharp, invisible pain or whatever. Like, it's an irrational pain because it's nerve pain. It's not like, okay, I'm just going to put some lotion. It's like, no, it's not going to do anything because it's like in the wiring. It's not on the surface or whatever. So, yeah, the onset of that was horrible because it was just like, I don't know what's happening. It's like I threw out my shoulder or something. I can't sleep at all.
Yeah.
Like, there's just the sharpest pain ever. It's like, okay, we got to go to the hospital. And it was like a 3-second. It's like, oh yeah, you got shingles. That's what that is. Like, here's some antivirals. And
good thing they knew though.
Oh yeah. So that one was easy. Like, I got some medicines, had to just ride it out, was playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition or whatever, like the remasters, and played through like most of that first game just in this kind of weird, like, athlete sling, like my left shoulder and stuff. There's been some lingering nerve twitchies from that, so that's not great. Just like a vague, ghostly, like,
pain
discomfort.
Or discomfort. Okay.
Like 1 on the scale. Like, it probably got to. I always reserve 10 for like kidney stones and women giving birth terribly. So
actually,
I've never gotten there.
I'm gonna pull this card. I was reading that the worst pain a human could go through is actually burning. So get out of their birth.
Oh. Like skin burned in a fire?
I don't even remember what the hell this is from, but apparently a study has shown that like women who I guess have felt their body burn before and give birth say that like being burned is definitely way worse.
Okay. Well, so for burn victims too, I guess they're right up there at number 10. I never got there. It was like 7 or 8 or something.
Okay,
but that's gone down to 1, so that's great.
Yeah, and
I have a weird spicy thing lotion I put on to try to deflect it.
I love
really been working.
Voltaren.
I'm not looking at it right now. It's like Novus or something. I don't know.
Is it one of these?
It is not one of those. Are those great? Should I get that?
For pain, this one's pain and inflammation. It's just kind of like almost a deodorant stick, but wherever there's pain, you just kind of rub it on, and it does that.
That looks like a way easier applicator than what I'm doing with like this gloop
on your hand or whatever
over my shoulder.
Totally. So, okay. You know what the nice thing about this too is that if it's in a spot that is hard to reach, you can just get like your partner to help you, and it's not this weird like they have to like put this disgusting shit on their hands that might make them burn after or like any of that.
Yeah, early on I was getting Brittany to help, and it's just like, no, I don't want to wash my hands a bunch before I can do things again. It's like, yeah okay.
Yeah. I'll maybe look into them. Medi-Stick. I guess it's a brand.
Medi-Stick.
Maybe.
All right, I'll write that down.
Yeah. It works pretty good.
Okay. That's over the counter. It's not, or like out on the shelves.
I think so. Yeah.
Prescription.
No, not prescription.
The most mysterious ailment that happened was like, I was watching Anaconda for our podcast, right?
As you do. Yep.
Yeah.
J-Lo,
I was having a pretty good time. Yeah, Owen Wilson's in there.
Yeah.
John Voight was the standout. He was just so nutty. But I was kind of getting itchy. I was just like, man, I envy this snake because he can just shed his skin and move on with his day.
I've definitely had that feeling.
Superpower. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of scritching a little bit. And the next morning, it's just like, these are getting pretty red. I'm gonna phone 811, get some advice.
Sure.
What should I get for this? And their advice was the worst advice. I hate it when they say
go
this.
To the hospital.
It's just, yeah, you got to go to the emergency room, dude. It's like, really? Because like I'm having a conversation at this tone. Is this an emergency? It's like, you got to go to the emergency room. All right. So then I checked the hospital websites. 3 hours or something at the Rocky View. That was like the best one. And I was like, hey, my grandpa stayed at the Rocky View. That's like one of the major ones I've never been to. This will be like
an adventure.
Cross that off the list. Yeah. Let's go spend a day at the hospital.
Cross it off the list. Yeah, the bucket list. Hopefully not the last thing on the bucket list.
It's like, that's it. Made it to all the major hospitals. Dies. That's it. Got the 5.
At least you're in the right
place. I'm trying to think.
I guess.
If I'm missing, is there only 4 major ones now? There's like Lougheed, Foothills, Rocky View,
and
South Center.
Do you count Schumer downtown?
I kind of don't count the Schumer.
They do have an emergency room.
They do? Okay. I just feel like they have the least facilities, so I'd never roll the dice. Like, it's like, they have the exact thing you need, and it's here.
I mean, maybe not surprisingly based on where they are. Their big things are they have good mental health, like personnel and facilities, and drug rehabilitation and like methadone and stuff to help, the homeless, homeless druggies that come in and stuff.
We've definitely ended up there because they're open all the time. But this was during the day, so I didn't need to go there.
Yeah.
But that whole situation quickly escalated into like, oh, you've tested positive for COVID again while sitting here. It's like, oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So you're going to have to go into this orange zone here. And then eventually I was like kind of in my own little room because I could have been a contagion threat or something. But my rashes were like a mystery that the hospital had to solve. I felt like a House episode or something was going on about me.
Yeah.
Because it was just like a parade of people. Like, it was pretty busy at this point in February. It's not as like falling apart as it seems to be now based on online anecdotes of just like, yeah, a guy next to me in the waiting room just died. So that sucks.
Jesus.
Stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah.
That wasn't the case like 5 months ago. That it was just like, yeah, I didn't get a sandwich until like 1 a.m. What's that about? You know,
sure.
Like,
yeah.
it's like kind of bad. Like, I was pretty hungry, but it's in hindsight not
way
that
different. Yeah.
Yeah, I at least
better.
had my own room and stuff, so whatever. But yeah, that ended up like escalating into like spending a week in the hospital, like just with various people coming by, scraping off things and doing tests and checking my blood over and over.
So did it hurt though, or was it just like inconvenient?
For a while it did. Like early on, there was just this like dry, crusty, like I couldn't sleep was the main thing. And then when I did, I was having like Clive Barker nightmares about just like getting my skin filleted off or something, because it was like my experience informing my subconscious or something, like them talking to each other. And it was like, oh, like it was just real bad. So 1 or 2 days of like real bad discomfort, and then the rest just kind of hanging out in the hospital with like a tiny TV and like this rotating menu and just kind of waiting to get the all clear, because my heart was kind of running a bit high. Well, like past a point.
Well, probably from anxiety alone. Like, I don't know.
That couldn't have been helping, but it was like, hey, we just gave you a bunch of this stuff on this IV. Your heart should have reacted to that, and it didn't. So we're going to keep you here because you could just like die if you go home or whatever.
Jesus Christ.
All right. I don't feel like I'm going to die, but like I did almost faint once or whatever. So I guess it's better safe than sorry and just stay here. And because I was like a COVID contagion threat, I was like, I got my own room and everything.
Yeah.
Like pretty big space in hindsight again. So it's like, okay.
This is
like,
giving me anxiety. Fuck. This is insane. Okay.
But no, it went from like, I'm probably gonna have to spend the afternoon in the hospital again, like the shingles situation, to like living there for a week.
Yeah.
So it was kind of weird. But
I did know about this, but I don't think this is something we talked about because we wouldn't on TDP, obviously.
Yeah. So it was just this weird thing where it was like, all right, like all these people were paying so much attention to me, and I just feel weird that like I can't help this get solved. Like, it's like, did you take something else? Like, were you allergic to something else that you took? It's like, no, I swear I wrote down everything I took. Like, I don't know. I might have had a Tylenol or something. It's like, no, it wouldn't be that. Like, there was just like these frustrated doctors. And it's like, okay, we're going to do a biopsy and stuff. It's like, that's fine. What do you got to do to solve it? But in the end, like, it started, okay. The positive from all that was like, having just juggling TV all day was kind of like, oh, this is fun. Like, you get to just tune into different shows that are on. When I got home, I kind of was like, I'm going to juggle several shows. So it'd be like, I'm not going to try to binge a show. I'm going to watch like 2 episodes of that, and then 1 episode of this, and then 1 episode of this, like it was on TV. And that was kind of a fun little thing for a while. Just to throw more into the pot, get a little stew going.
Sure.
So that was fun. And there was like a handful of things where it's just like, oh, this is so weird. It just seems like The Fugitive is always on TV. Like, it'll just be on at some point today. It's going to be on. And it's like, it's a good movie, but why, what?
It probably
so I was like catching big chunks of it.
They probably don't have to pay for rights or something. Like, I'm sure there's a network deal where, yeah, we can just show The Fugitive like at 24 hours.
We license it and people like it. It's good for a rerun movie or whatever. So it's like, I guess.
Yeah.
So I ended up watching big chunks of The Fugitive several times. And it was like, oh, this is great because I'm in a hospital and he's a doctor and he's going to go to the hospital and there'll be Julianne Moore and she's a nurse. This is hilarious. So I don't know.
It worked out.
It was like the defining movie of that hospital stay. But yeah. So that was like the big hurdle, I guess. And then returning home after that on Valentine's Day. That's when it timed out.
Okay.
So I got home for Valentine's Day.
That's nice.
That was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Then just kind of that destroyed several of my like habits and patterns. Like I was really working on writing at home when I got back, or like exercising better.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I just feel like I barely survived. I'm just going to lie down. So
Sure.
I've been in a kind of crappy, and I guess that's kind of led to this like chain of just feeling down and out. But I should probably go to TV shows since I brought that up.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk
Juggling
TV.
Shows.
Anything good?
So, well,
well, no.
I feel they're pretty good, but
Okay.
it's gonna be some, you know, for any Gen Z people are gonna be like, oh, so overrated. This stuff, this old crap, this sucks. Maybe is my read on it.
Okay.
But along with The Fugitive, a show that's always on every day is Seinfeld. It's always on.
Yes, it is.
You turn on TV, they're George and Jerry and Kramer and
Elaine.
Luann.
Yeah.
It's foreshadowing for another show. They're going to be doing something. So I started at season 4. It's kind of like a big episode I was in at the hospital. It was like season 4. So I was like, I'll pick up there and then just watch through. And now I'm at the beginning of season 9. Which new insights, all I have is that I didn't really realize Larry David left that show like at the end of season 7.
Sure. Yeah. I don't remember
For those who
the late seasons very well.
Yeah. For those who know the show, it's like that weirdly dark episode where like Susan dies. That's like the last.
Okay.
Larry David is like show running and on the writing staff, like as a producer and stuff. He's there. Seasons 8 and 9 are like Jerry's running the show. And I don't know if it's just like, oh yeah, stuff gets way sillier. Like last 2 seasons just get goofy with their like, and like they always have their kind of all the story threads like fold in a little bit or something from here pays off here or whatever.
Yeah.
It gets like way more tenuous in those last 2 seasons. Like it's just like, hey, what, Elaine, why don't you just go down? I don't know why that's happening. I think I keep thinking Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Oh yeah.
But that's not the character's name. So Louise, but that's not right. Anyway, like just like, hey, why don't you go swing by the like karate studio and talk to Kramer? Oh, okay. And then like shows up for that payoff. Like just like, all right.
Oh,
like,
where
there's
he's
not
beating
really
up kids or whatever.
Where he's beating up kids and all of his advice seems lame. And it's just like, we can't really think of an organic reason she'd go back here. So Jerry will just tell her to do that on the telephone. Like just kind of stuff like that. Like the threads get a little thinner, but it still generally plays the same way.
Sure.
But I just watched an episode where like, you know, Kramer's a turkey. Like Newman wants to eat him because he's covered in butter. And it's like, all right, this is really dumb. Yeah. But okay.
I remember these. I remember these bits and pieces for sure.
Yeah. But overall, still, you know, that for some reason, that's like the only laugh track era sitcom I can handle that like has a full blown people laughing underneath all of it. And it doesn't just drive me insane. So whatever that means, you know?
Yeah, there's probably... I was going to say there's probably another 1 or 2 I can think of, but...
There was like a few seasons of Frasier that I was able to handle, but like past season 4 or 5 or something, I feel like the divide starts where it's just like, that wasn't that funny, but this audience is losing it.
Yeah.
So
also, as soon as like the characters in Frasier go from archetypes into caricatures of like who they're supposed to be, that show takes a dip for me. Also, the writing becomes terrible. Of like
it really starts stretching itself out. Like it's like, oh, I thought I could power through, but it turns out there's like 4 or 5 great seasons of Frasier, and then it just keeps going.
Like when when Daphne realizes that Niles is like in love with her, that's kind of like, oh, this is gonna go bad, and it just kind of goes bad.
I feel like they keep like extending that dilemma for way too long
for no reason,
but they kind of have to.
Yeah.
That show does not pull it off, I guess, but there's a lot of it. I guess in a similar, like I'm hoping this isn't happening to King of the Hill, but it kind of is. Like, I just finished the 9th season. And that seems like another like sweet spot show where it's like, oh, between like 2 and 7 or something, there's tons of great stuff. And then past that, we're kind of getting a little, okay. It's a little less awesome per minute or something. But generally still enjoy that show. And yeah, Luann's a really funny character. She hasn't had like a line or a scene or an episode in a while, like where I'm at. I don't know what's going on. Maybe Brittany Murphy was busy. But yeah,
that show was over when she died, right? How does that timeline how does that timeline work? She died in 2009. When did King of the Hill end?
Oh, weird. Okay, that happens around the exact same time then. I think the last episodes were made in 2009 and aired in 2010. So it's possible she was there through the run of the whole show. But
interesting. But like they didn't have any new stuff for her, and then she
at least not where I'm at in like season 9 or whatever. It's been a little.
Season 9 was 2005. She was still alive.
She was still alive, but maybe busy with like Sin City's coming up and stuff. I don't know. She's got other stuff going on.
Her star is shooting.
Yeah.
Maid Diaries? No, that wasn't her, right? She did one of those Little Black Book, I think it might be called, actually.
Oh, yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah.
That rings a bell. Like that was on the shelf at the movie store when I worked there or something.
Little Black Book. Yep, that was her.
Boom. Aced it. But yeah, so King of the Hill, man, that show's aged in some weird ways, though, with like Dale Gribble is just like, oh, the crackpot Republican who's totally out there.
Or, every like, American.
A little bit. It's like the lines have shifted around a little bit. And now it's just, I've seen memes to this effect, too, of just like wild crackpot Republican, 2022 average Republican or something like that. Like, it's just, yeah, I still enjoy that character. Like he's the right kind of there's an episode where he kind of realizes he was wrong about the Kennedy assassination and has this weird freak out where she's like, wait a minute, it was a lone shooter. I'm an idiot. Is everything true? Did they land on the moon? Like he's having this like weird knowledge break or something. And it's like this is great.
He didn't want to be right.
And his friends like almost have to restore him to paranoid wild person because it's like ruining who he is. It's like, no, Dale, but what about the aliens? There could still be the aliens, like Area 51. It's like, no, none of it adds up, guys. Like, it's like, no, okay, we got to get Dale crazy again. We got to figure it out. So it's
some weird moment of clarity.
It's like, no, this is no good for how he's carrying himself. We gotta get him crazy again. I forget what it is that restores him to his old ways, but they figure it out. It's a 22-minute show. They gotta get there.
Yeah.
Although occasionally they do multi-part stories and stuff, which was kind of neat. But yeah, no laugh track in that show. It's animated. Has an animated show ever tried doing a laugh track? That wouldn't really work, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it definitely wouldn't work. I don't think, but
yeah, hopefully not.
Yeah.
And then I guess bring it into contemporary animation, like I was saying with the kickoff with COVID. Bob's Burgers. I've been watching a lot of that.
I really like Bob's Burgers. Yeah.
Okay, good. I think my only observation on that is like I kind of admire how they just don't care about how time is moving on. They're just like, yeah, it's Halloween episode. What? This is like the 8th Halloween episode. So wouldn't all the kids be like 22? Doesn't matter. Halloween's fun. And it's like, all right, sure. It's Bob's birthday again. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of just throws that away. It's just like, hey, we got another Christmas story for you. We got another Thanksgiving story for you. Valentine's Day. There you go. A quarter of our season is ready kind of stuff. And then they have to figure things out beyond that. But mostly it works. So yeah. I'm mostly happy with it. I think we're in season 8 now of that. And
that movie came out too this year. Actually, just like a month ago.
That movie did come out. I did enjoy the movie, but it didn't feel like the biggest, craziest episode or anything. Like, did you see it?
No, because I didn't know. I've also been considering doing like not a rewatch, but like catching up because I probably left off in season 6 or 7 or something.
there was a handful of things like resuming the show where it's like, oh, okay, that character had been established or this thing had happened, but it's really minor stuff. Like it's like the flavor is where you notice it.
Gotcha.
But I guess the one key thing for me though was like that character Mickey that like robbed the bank and became friends with them and everything like early in the show. Yeah. Became a carnival worker and everything.
Yeah.
That was Bill Hader for many years, but I guess his schedule's gotten too busy, so it's not him anymore. Which really freaked me out because they factor that character into the movie, and I was like, "What's going on? Why isn't Bill Hader? What?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, he was recast in like season 11." Yeah. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. That just sucks. I thought he'd be in the movie, but Barry, he's got to.
I heard that's good. I haven't seen it yet.
Barry's pretty great.
Like, I've heard good things about it. So
I found it like an okay dark comedy for like a season and a half, and then it kind of hits a new gear and really figures itself out halfway through the second season from my perspective. Okay. Like he starts directing more and it just gets crazy. Like it's pretty awesome.
Okay.
So yeah, also those, but it's a cable show. There's like 20 episodes or something.
Yeah.
So
easy to binge, but catch up.
Easy to finish that one. And that's something I didn't do my juggling method with. I would just watch whatever was available and catch up pretty quick. So
sure. Yeah.
But also quality. And then the new hotness, like the Stranger Things 4. I don't know. Okay.
I have a lot of huge issues with Stranger Things 4, and that thing is a bloated mess of a show.
I'm having problems with it. Yeah, I saw you were kind of critical of season 3. Like you're like, oh, they're just doing the season 3 stuff in season 4. That's not great. There was a tweet or something.
I'm trying to remember what it would have been that I'm thinking. Oh, should we say like spoilers for that? Like, are
for
we gonna
season 3
or 4? I guess any of it really. It's all kind of one big story.
I'm only like 5 episodes into 4, so we can't spoil the whole thing or whatever. But just by and large, I'm finding it like really scattered around. Yeah. Like the characters are across several states now and all over the place doing different things. And I care about like a third of it, maybe. So it's getting tough when it's just like, hey, what's going on over here with Elle? She's back at the thing. And it's like, we're doing this again. Like this was season 1 stuff. It's like, yeah, but we're going back to that. And it's important. It's like, I thought we'd just have her figuring out what life's like without powers or something. But we're not able to do that. The kids in California stuff, just kind of like there's some cool things that have happened over there, but it's just so far afield. I think I don't really care about like the characters enough to care about them beyond the town. Like I just like Hawkins. Okay. I want to be in Hawkins the whole time.
That's fair. I think I agree. There's characters I do care about, but I don't think they're the characters that initially the series wants you to care about.
Okay.
I really liked their introduction of Eddie. I liked Eddie.
Yeah. For the new people in this season, he was like a fun addition, but like he's kind of doing his thing, and that's at least part of the town's dilemma is him being there. So
he has some good stuff coming up for like that you haven't seen yet too. Like he's good the whole time through. So
okay.
He's good. I like Chrissy's kind of like weird. She's one of the ones that is being like haunted or whatever, and she's like kind of the like popular cheerleader, but she's also hanging.
Yeah,
out
I
with.
thought
I
thought they underserved that. Like they
underserved sort of a lot of good things in this season.
It's kind of like Barb in season 1, where it's just like, oh, I like this character, and then it's just like, oh, I hope you don't because she's gone. And it's like, oh, well, you had a lot you could have done there with like, the classes of the kids or something, but they didn't really do that. So
this season more than ever is not. It doesn't matter what like. It doesn't matter that they're nerds. It doesn't matter that there's jocks. Like none of that shit matters at all. And in fact, any of the stuff that like you maybe even like from the other seasons, I think like you said, they just split everybody up into different parts of the world, and like they're having to give every story thread that they put in some time, so it just becomes this giant like every episode's an hour and 15 minutes. The final
Yeah, we just came out of a 75-minute episode.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I just don't feel like everyone is worth like a movie's time. They're basically, yeah.
And there's some storylines, like, frankly, I don't give a fuck about. I don't care about the California kids and their road trip. Like, sorry, I don't care about Will and Mike.
Will's a weird one because, like, he was just missing for the first season. And then, like, past that, they're trying to kind of, like, fold him in. And it's like, I guess, but, like, I cared more when he was, like, going to the arcade and stuff back in town. But now he's not even there and stuff. So, I don't know.
I do like them as a group when they eventually get to that point again where everybody's together again. Because, I mean, you know it's going to happen. That's not a spoiler.
Yeah, that's how they do these, I guess.
So, like, that's fun. That crew definitely has chemistry together because they've been working with each other for years and years now. So like that comes through good. And frankly, the stuff about season 4 that I like, and this is true with all of the seasons, I still like the horror stuff they do. I think the horror stuff is top notch for kind of not as gory, just kind of fucked up shit that happens.
I think I found kind of like the first 3 seasons escalate in ways I was really enjoying. I find Vecna this weird like sidestep or downgrade or something. Like it just doesn't feel like he's as like, you know, season 1 you have a single Demigorgon. He's gonna get them. That's like, that's all right. Season 2 is just big giant thing and a bunch of Demigorgons. So all right, and
like a nest or something of them,
and like the pumpkin patch, and there's like these tunnels forming all over town. It could spread everywhere. And then season 3, you have the mall, which I really liked as like a centerpiece. And there's like espionage crap going on there. And also,
I hate all of the espionage and Russian shit. I hate all of it. I think it's pointless.
That stuff only tasted great to me because I have way too much fondness for this kind of bad Dabney Coleman, Henry Thomas movie called Cloak and Dagger.
Okay.
I was like, it's the Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah.
It's so weird that they would pull from this.
No, that show definitely loves Cloak and Dagger.
Like Cold War, but kids getting involved with like
and like sneakers. That show loves sneakers.
Early hacking. Yeah, it's just some of that stuff was like, oh, what a weird thing to throw in the mix. This is fun.
Yeah.
But the blob kind of thing that's going on, like it's going all over town. You could turn into a gloopy mass of tissue and join this thing or whatever.
It was kind of cool, but now it's like it was like body horror stuff they were doing now, just weird shit.
And it felt like a potentially like town or earth-ending threat or something. Like it could get real bad. Like for all the talk about him and like, oh, we got to save the world again. It's like I feel like Vecna has just been hanging out for 30 years in a spooky mansion, occasionally killing people. Like I don't really get the this is going to end everything vibe from him. It's like, Freddy's or Jason is at Camp Crystal Lake. If you go there, he's going to kill you, but he's just there. Like he's not going to start going to Manhattan and killing kids there or anything. That would be crazy. That would be a terrible idea.
That would be a bad movie if they made that.
That would be real bad. So they just don't do that wisely. And no, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, I just feel like he's the most intelligent threat they face because he's like sentient and can talk and everything.
Yeah.
But I just don't feel the like, oh man, like Elle and the kids in California are also in danger somehow from this. It's just like, no, they're way far away. Like,
they're fine
about it.
The problem with Vecna is that his whole thing is theoretical, where the others we saw, like a Demigorgon will bite your head off and rip you the fuck up. So by extension, a bunch of these is going to be worse in season 2. Fine escalation. And then the blob thing is just this weird, just body horror.
Like you want to go to the mall because it's the 80s and it could get you or whatever.
It's we can
and there's the portal under it that's like, oh, they're going to open it and then who knows what's going to come through there. It could be even worse.
Right.
But they close it and then I was like, all right, we're done. But then they kind of say, no, it's still sort of happening. And I just didn't feel, I feel like they did a trilogy and now they're trying to figure out what else to do. So it's a little not hitting the thing. We kind of binged all the previous seasons. This one's been like, do you want to watch Stranger Things tonight? No, I don't. And then we've gone on and made it through like 5 episodes.
Well, we binged Stranger Things season 4 in one night. and on a Saturday. Like we just spent all day doing it because that was
our
before,
like season 3 experience. Yeah.
That was before the last 2 episodes or what, because they split it up into.
They did split it up. That's
7 episodes out now and 2 episodes coming. Then those 2 episodes are
subscribe again.
2.5 hours long. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Netflix. What you crazy devils.
I think I'm still positive on it just in general, mainly because I don't feel that like a bad batch in season 4 spoils the bunch.
The whole thing. No, like in general, I've been like, there's been a lot of negativity around about the show because it's like, oh, it's so nostalgia baity, it's so like derivative or whatever. But it's
and
like,
it is, yeah.
Oh, sure, but I like what it's deriving from, and it seems to enjoy that stuff in a way that like contemporary culture doesn't. You know?
Yeah.
Like there hasn't been a Freddy movie for a while, like a decade, dozen years. And they have Robert Englund in here as a little cameo.
Yep.
You know, a little
That's a good cameo
or whatever.
Yep.
So, you know, them pulling from that stuff's fine. It's just, and then like I like the Blob, and that season 3 was kind of the Blob.
Yeah.
So everything it's kind of joking around with is enjoyable. It's just the finer details and how they're scattering it around. Like season 2 had that like much maligned episode where Elle goes off to like Chicago or something, and
nothing happens with it.
Weirdly timed episode late in the season where it's just like, what are we doing? We're just spending a whole episode here. This is stupid. And then like review bomb that.
Yeah.
Like this feels like a little bit of that notion is like just in the central show with like, you're over here, you're over here, you're over here. And eventually they'll combine again, but I don't know if I'm trying to justify it like, oh, everybody had busy shooting schedules and stuff, so they had to like divide it up. Like Millie Bobby Brown is just gonna be on her own for a big chunk of it because we need her to do Godzilla or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Finn Wolfhard's got to do Ghostbusters, so he's gonna be available for a couple weeks here. Something. It just feels weird. So that's my grumping about it. But
and it's not even the last season. There's another season coming, which is
that's definitely okay. Because we've kind of flaked out on Netflix. We got like, at some point this year they were just like, hey, it costs more now again, and we were just like, oh, I guess we're done because I'm not using this very much. You know, like we were barely holding on. So yeah, we're kind of like. We're paying a lot for Disney Plus, but we feel like we're getting the value over there, you know, like especially up here in Canada with all the Hulu stuff.
Yeah,
and like
for us, it's very content. Good. For sure.
Yeah. Like I can watch Speed on there and Speed 2 and then watch Bob's Burgers.
Or Simpsons. Like there's a lot of shit
all
on
the
there.
Simpsons is a click away. Yeah, it's pretty great. But the lineup over at Netflix was kind of getting too thin for us to consider. And they keep kind of jerking around shows we like Mindhunter is just kind of in a void. It might never come back. So
they're kind of known for canceling
to look forward to.
Good shit. Yeah.
So hopefully they do well enough to make that 5th season and wrap it up, I guess. But we're not really helping them out much this time around. So piracy. Piracy.
I mean, kind of fuck Netflix for real. We still have it because we stopped paying for it a bit ago, and my parents are like, just use our password. I was like, yeah, okay, because they're still paying for it, so sure,
might as well. Yeah.
I don't usually watch it. I'm in the same camp as you. If I'm gonna watch something, it's usually a Disney Plus joint.
Mm-hmm. Not to say they can keep like, because they did hike it after a year. It's like, all right, you guys are obviously going in a weird direction with it. But as of right now, it feels okay.
Yeah,
but,
I was gonna say not to say that all of their stuff is quality either, but like they have more of it, so at least I feel like there's a reason why we're paying that.
Yeah, I haven't been on the contemporary Star Wars train for a bit. I haven't been seeing those, but I've been hearing really mixed things too. I don't know, by people who enjoy them, but don't. So I don't know.
Which one are you talking about? Obi-Wan, I'm guessing?
Like Obi-Wan specifically, I guess.
Yeah.
Seemed like a surefire great idea, and then it was kind of this like waffling reception, like 7.1 on IMDb or something. That's really low for a TV show. Usually people are frothing about these things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it's only 6 episodes, right? So how do you get that wrong? But
you have a bunch of useless shit that doesn't matter. You have Kid Leia, which is the thing I hate. Adult talking kid. I hate it.
When I heard about Kid Leia, I was pretty bummed out. I was like, oh,
it's really fucking bad. That. And people that like it, I respect less because it's bad. Okay. I'm just gonna throw that out.
Like, no, you're just wrong.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have liked that. I have been enjoying the salty film commentary of like Pauline Kael. She was a New Yorker critic who passed away. I've been reading a big book of stuff.
Oh, okay.
My favorite thing about her is she'll like review the movie, but then also review other reviews. Basically, it's just like,
oh, that's
this guy over here.
That. Yeah,
he says this, but he is vamping. He isn't. That's not true. That doesn't happen or whatever. Like just like picking apart all these other things about like, yeah, West Side Story is not good, and here's why. But also, you shouldn't like it because I like musicals. This is a bad one.
The remake?
And I would know. No, the OG.
Okay,
she passed away.
Yeah, that's
before
what I
the
was,
remake.
That's what I was. Thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
The original, just like a bunch of white people are playing Puerto Ricans. Like this is not what it thinks it is.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, and I didn't really like that movie, so it was fun to read like someone from way back go.
Was there any one that like she hated that you're like disagree?
There's stuff coming up that I'm curious about. Like there's another one that I'm sort of on board with. Like I've never seen The Majesty of Raging Bull. Like I just don't. It's not my favorite Scorsese at all. I don't think it's anything as special.
Okay.
And she agrees. So it's kind of nice to be like, okay, yeah, I'm glad someone of clout is on the team of, it's not, it's okay.
Yeah.
As opposed to, best film of the 80s. Like, come on. Incredible.
It
was
80s?
robbed the best picture.
Wow.
Like, I guess it came out in 1980. Like it doesn't really define that decade at all. It's set in the 40s. Like it doesn't really feel like the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's people that froth over that movie.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what she's gonna say about Blue Velvet. A little worried. Could go weird.
Okay.
But we'll see. Because I like that one a lot.
Okay.
Antonioni's blow up. She's all not on board with that, and I think that's great because Antonioni's not great. So it's fun to see like someone back then be like, people are just pretending they like this. Like they just think it's arty.
Yeah.
And they're here. It's like when I was at the Marcel Marceau mime show and people were like clapping at weird times because they're just like, look at me, I'm out here at the art. Yay. And it's like, you don't know what you're doing. Like,
honestly, I kind of feel that way when most people talk about movies in general.
Yeah.
Just,
yeah.
Like
it's pretty fun.
It's like, no, you don't like that A24 movie. You like it because you think it makes you smart to like it. Like
it's like, oh, this is smart horror. This is crazy. It's like, okay. Yeah.
Wait, what movie are you thinking of right now? Because I have a movie in my head.
Hereditary, maybe. Like,
okay.
I haven't seen Midsommar because I didn't really like. I thought I liked Hereditary more than the people I saw it with, but then people have been kind of like upping their score on Hereditary post it coming out. It's just like I thought we all agreed that was kind of a slog, but there was some good stuff in it. But
yeah,
it's like
I like Hereditary. I fucking hate Midsommar. I think people that like Midsommar don't realize what they're watching. It's really bad.
I saw the advertising and like knew I didn't want to see it, so I didn't even see it.
Ask anybody what happens in Midsommar, and they'll tell you the beginning because that's the only thing that has any sort of emotional resonance or matter in anything.
That was the thing with this blow up review. It was like there's like one scene I remember from that movie, seeing it in film class years ago.
Yeah,
and she does highlight that as like, well, the best scene in the movie is this. But then it doesn't even really pay that off. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's true. I don't know what it was with him. It was like, oh, I'm going to make this weird disaffected, like ironic postmodern, like there's going to be a murder mystery, but then the main character doesn't even care because that says so much about our times and the detachment or something. But just like, all right, but I like murder mysteries and you're not solving the murder mysteries. So this is just a jerk movie. Like, what is this? So like Brian De Palma basically remade that, but paid it off with Blowout.
Sure.
It's like similar premise, but a different, like instead of a photographer who accidentally captured a murder on film, it's like a sound guy who accidentally caught a murder on tape.
Yeah.
But then it escalates to like, and now John Lithgow's this hitman and he's going to fight John Travolta and whatever. It's like, all right, yeah, great. Finally, like something that actually builds its story in a way that something happens. Yeah. So thanks to Palma, but whatever. It's been fun reading. Like, yeah. So it's really judgy and like snippy at other people, but it's like it's the New Yorker, so it can like just be like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Just pointing at you. It's like, this is really funny.
It almost like has to be just based on what it is. Yeah. The New Yorker.
It's pretty fun. That book's like huge and sought after. It's like 1,200 pages. And like, it's like, hey, people are waiting on this and you're not really reading it. Like I'm reading it on the library app. It's just like, what are you doing? You're not really. It's like, I know, but there's like 1,000 pages. I don't really care about Marlon Brando, so I'm like skipping this essay.
Yeah,
because I'm just trying to find like stuff I care about. It's like I never saw HUD with Paul Newman, so I can't really get that much out of this review.
What was the name of the book? So I can put in the notes in case that sounds interesting.
God. I'll have to grab my ebook thing.
Yeah, just tell me after, and I'll have it in the show notes in case.
Well, she's Pauline Kael, and she's like film critic for decades. It's just kind of a compilation of a bunch of stuff from recently published, though. Oh God,
is there just like a bunch?
What? Yeah, no, she's all over the age of movies. Tons of stuff. So. It's excerpts from all sorts of books and articles and film quarterlies and whatever. So, yeah, really the thing to know is her name. And then if you can find some of her criticism that isn't behind New Yorker paywall, then you can read it. So, yeah. Like find a movie you like or hate. Find a movie you hate. That's my recommendation. And then see if it's on the same page.
Okay.
And just like... Oh, yeah, no, I don't know why people are blowing smoke up this thing, but she'll say it way more eloquently than I just did. So, yeah, it's fun. But, okay, let's move into the realm of books, I guess.
Okay.
Because of the ebook app, Libby has really opened up my reading to all sorts of stuff. It's like
Libby, okay.
It's Calgary Public Library. They have a thing there, and you can just get stuff downloaded right to your iPad. For a long time, I had a designated e-reader that I would only use to read cyberpunk books because it was such a headache to get them on there. Like,
okay.
It was like syncing an iPod in like 2003 or something.
Right.
You got to get your thing plugged in and move it to certain folders and whatever. This is just, oh, hey, cool, they have that. And then it starts downloading onto the thing and you just start reading it. Which I guess relevant to your interests and stuff, like that's how I've been reading Berserk, the manga.
Have you been reading
really
it?
Easy. I'm at like the 9th issue now, the 9th volume. So
I'm not going to pretend to have enough of an ego to say that you've been listening to the podcast we've been doing.
I've been seeing the posts about it and wanting to like post a comment, like some jokey thing, like "behe lit," and it's got like a little fireball or something.
Sure.
Just to say like I know what this is now, but
okay.
Yeah, I'm still behind where you guys are, so I haven't been like keeping with it in the same way. But
fair.
Yeah, I can. But it's crazy. It's
there's some bad shit that happens to those characters.
I haven't read like Warhammer 40K, like true grim dark stuff, but this is pretty dark.
This is pretty dark grim stuff. And dark. Yeah,
it's pretty. By my reckoning, my like thresholds, it's pretty dark and pretty grim.
Yeah,
pretty early too. Like I enjoyed how it was structured because it kind of roped me in a really like. All right, I guess this is just Dark Souls, crazy boss battles. We're gonna be fighting stuff. And he's really nihilistic and mean, and that's going to be the thing. And then Puck is there, and that's Navi, and sure, okay, yeah. I see where all the video games like this. But then they'd start like going back in time,
and now it's medieval politics for a bit.
A little more so, yeah. It's a little more Game of Thrones or something. And I was like, wow, this character Guts is such a mean asshole. This guy's terrible. What's with this guy? And then it's like, oh, we're going to tell you what's with this guy. We're going to go back in time and tell his origin story. And then you're going to feel a lot better about how he's handling his business because of all the stuff he's been through. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, sure. That this all checks out. So, like, I think it was that early. There's that kind of beat where that girl's cursing his name or whatever. Like he saved her with his blade, and then kind of has this like look after when she's really upset with him, and you're like, oh, he has like character. He's not just this sword swinging angry guy. Yeah, and that was kind of like the onboard point where I'd heard legend of just like, oh, like Hidetaka Miyazaki loves this shit. All the From Software is all about this. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I'll check it out because monster designs and things. And that was checking out pretty early. Yeah. Just big weapons and all the stuff was like, oh, wow, okay, great. Like, Cloud probably has a big sword because of this. Yep. Stuff like that. Yep. But then, yeah, the way it's kind of like expanding on the backstory and why things are happening. Also, that like thimble full of like Clive Barker stuff that's in there with like basically the Cenobites
with the God Hand. Yeah,
the God Hand just being like super Cenobite-y was just like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, what a crazy combination. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a wild ride. I haven't been on a big manga for a long time.
This is my first ever. Cool. I've never read a manga more than like 2 pages, just kind of like pretending I'm reading it in a bookstore or something.
Oh, or like I've read like Death Note, but it's like a mini series compared to this, you know, like this is decades long, kind of took up this whole guy's life kind of thing, making this. Yeah. And I realize now, like I'd heard about it before, but I never really pursued it. Sure. It took the confluence of like you guys doing a show, this Dark Souls channel I like mentioning his passing, and like I think my friend Jordan had brought it up and how like it got to a weird point where it's just like, yeah, just hoping he finishes it. Like these George R.R. Martin kids don't know what they're talking about because we've been waiting for Berserk to be done forever.
Do you know the news about that? Do you want me to fill you in on what's going on with Berserk? There's news.
It's his son doing it, but what's the news? I don't know the news.
So the news is that it came out officially here now. I guess volume 41 came out in Japan last year, maybe, or something. But it's being picked up by, I think, somebody that he was close friends and worked with, that like on his deathbed, he literally told him how the like plot's supposed to go. And this guy originally said, like, I don't think we could do it justice or whatever. And people like clamored for it. He's like, all right, we're going to do it. If I don't remember exactly what he said, we're not going to just make shit up, but I'm going to give you exactly what I think he would have wanted or something. So that's It's insane. It's fucking insane that the dude just like knows he's died. It's like, I'm going to lay out the rest of the story for you. You have to continue my legacy.
Okay. That's pretty dramatic, I guess.
It's so weird.
Hopefully you don't see that. You know that thing about like there's like the extremely well drawn horse. Yeah, it keeps getting more and more detailed, and then there's like a kid's drawing. I really hope that doesn't happen with this. But the journey's been crazy. Yeah, there's 30 some years of it anyway, and a lot of tales are told. But yeah, that would really suck if it doesn't all come together. Now that I'm invested, but hey, we got some good video games out of it too. So. That's cool. Yeah. It makes Dark Souls seem so less dark, I guess. Totally. Like, yeah, it's pretty melancholic and crazy things happen, but not quite like this. Like it's. It also, you know what? It also makes me really wish From would just put dismemberment in their games. Sure. You almost need it. Like the way parts of dudes' heads are getting sliced and crunched is just like, why isn't that in here? Maybe that's why I like Bloodborne, because they at least have big, splashy, thick gloop going everywhere when you're fighting. But even more so, they need to just go all in on, like, you sliced part of that guy, and now he's disabled in a really weird way. But he's going to still try to get you.
One of the best things about Dark Souls is cutting off Calamit's tail, or, like, using the gargoyle's tail as a weapon. Like,
yeah, that was a core thing with the first game, was all the secret weapons with doing that. So
yeah, they
gotta get back to it. I don't know. They fucked up. You fucked up, Miyazaki. Like, you've made amazing games, some of the best I've ever made, but you gotta get together.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Donut.
At some point, like, are they just building up to like, we're gonna make the Berserk game?
Well, like, there are Berserk games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. There's so much fighting.
There's 3 of them. One of them is a Muso game, like a Warriors game.
Makes sense.
Of course,
yeah.
because Guts is the man killer, the 100-man killer,
he
or whatever.
Fought 100 dudes. I saw that.
Yeah.
He killed all those guys.
There is a Japanese release-only PS2 game, which, from what I'm told, apparently plays like an RPG, more like an early Souls type thing, which makes sense also. And there's a Dreamcast game as well. I haven't played any of them yet because apparently they have story beats that like would be spoilerish.
It would spoil some things in the series. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a decade or more would have come out before even the Dreamcast existed. So
yeah.
I'm not really sure on like the publication dates of like I'm reading these Dark Horse adaptations of it or whatever, and I don't know that it says like this was 1991 or something like anywhere in there. I'm just kind of
those were published in the 2000s or whatever. The whole Golden Age arc type thing I think ends by the year 2000 roughly, or
it took 12 years
96 or 97 because the anime came out in 97, right? And that's where the Golden Age is where it ends at the end of the anime.
Okay. There you go. But yeah, no, it's been one of those like pop culture like when I saw Ghost in the Shell, I was like, oh, I see where the Matrix came from.
Yeah, totally.
You know, this is kind of like, oh, I've seen where so many Japanese video games got so much of their notions.
Totally.
So yeah.
Yep.
Like monster designs, weapon stuff, like I don't know that anyone's as nihilistic and moody in quite the right way. Like, I feel they kind of tried to write Cloud this way in the remake. Like, he's like sort of a kids bop version of Guts or something, where he's like, ugh, yeah, I don't really want to eat pizza with you guys. It's like, all right.
He really is like a Kidz Bop version of Guts. That's a good way to put it.
Like PG-13 teen, like super friendly in hindsight, but like, oh, he was a little glib about someone's death or something. Like, it's not quite the same, but whatever.
Yeah,
I like that stuff too. But yeah, it's definitely a bit of a mind shift.
Also, there's like reasons for why Guts is that way. Like, you'll see what it builds up to. It's fucking horrific.
I'm at where he's left the Band of the Hawk or whatever. Like, he has just left to go on his own, and there was...
You're at the part where things start happening.
It was good stuff happening anyway. Like, I love the one bit where Griffith just, like, stared down that dude down the hallway.
The, like, evil eye.
Like, I know you're part of... Like, he just freaked that guy out. It was like, this is awesome. I'm gonna, like, screen cap that.
One of my favorite things is every time Griffith is just, like, in one scene, he's just, like, really... scary looking, and then in another he has just like dumb anime dude face or whatever.
Oh yeah, he just turns into like this sweet cherub on a dime, but that he's so like split is such a fun dynamic. It's like, oh, the darkness in that guy is so dark, but he can cloak it and just like, I'm like Fabio or something.
Water fight, or the homoeroticism is so good too. Oh my god,
yeah.
They love each other so much, and I'm so here for it. It's so good.
Yeah, no, it's quite a thing. So yeah, every other manga I've read is just like short form compared to this one. This is like feels like getting on board with like a shonen or something. It's huge.
Yeah, totally.
But way darker. So yeah,
super dark.
Oh, that Nosferatu's odd. What's he doing? But yeah, I gave him a sword, and did he leave that sword? What was going on with that? Because they had their little duel in the morning. And he had his reforged sword or something. It was like his old sword. I was like, oh, weird. I thought he had the curved demon thing.
Wait, he had... I don't remember the sword you're talking about.
Just he fights that Boscone, like, general guy, the rhino guy.
Right.
Ugh. I also love some of the like convoluted ass like
armors
names.
The armor sets are so good too.
Like, we're the auxiliary corps of Ultra Supreme.
I think the way Ben and I were talking about them, how I described them is like, you know how when you're a kid in like a soccer league or something, it's like, this is the Snakes or whatever. It's like
no, it should be the Vipers.
Yeah. These armies are like the purple rhinos or whatever, and like
it's like every kid had an idea for a cool word and they just put all of them in. It's so funny.
It's great.
It's great, but sort of undercuts the severity of what's going on a little, but no, it's something. So
yeah,
that's great stuff.
Yeah.
What? Oh, here it is. Yeah. Gosh, I guess I could linger on book stuff, but there's so many. There's all these biographies. They're so easy to download. Dennis Rodman, Carrie Fisher.
Oh,
see
sure.
what's going on with their lives.
Just interesting people. Yeah.
Brian Posehn had a pretty great one. But I think the standout of all of those is something I wasn't even like, I don't know why I read it, because I hadn't seen her show or knew enough about it to really do this. But I read Cassandra Peterson's biography. That's Elvira to you.
Oh, okay.
And it's crazy how eventful her life was. It was a really fun read. So that's probably the standout for me. It kind of made me a fan. Like, I generally like crappy horror movies, so this works out. But it was fun to just see how much of, like, she was there at the crazy days in Las Vegas. She was a showgirl during the wilder times before, like, when Casino happened. She mentions Casino because she's like, I like that movie because it's exactly like how it was. It's like, great.
That makes sense.
But just the people she ran into, all the stuff that happened, like, she was, it's a fun stuff. Cruelly Yours, I think is what it's called, the book.
Cool Yours?
Cruelly.
Oh, Cruelly. Like okay.
See, because the evil, the Elvira, the horror.
Sure. Yeah, that's what it's called. Fun. Yours Cruelly, Elvira.
Yours Cruelly. There you go. I got
Memoirs of the Mistress of the Dark.
That's her. And then I found out, like, a bunch of her shows on Tubi, like the free ad-based streaming thing.
Yeah.
And ads don't ruin that at all, because it's like, all right, we're going to commercial, darlings. And it's like, oh, yeah, this was made for this. This was made for TV.
Sure.
Like, it's just watching, like, this bad Dean Stockwell movie where he's a werewolf, but also in Washington, D.C. Stuff like that. It's great. Oh, and the Charles Band universe of, like, weirdly bad, but kind of can't turn away horror movies, like Puppet Master and Demonic Toys, specifically.
Yeah. Did
That's
you see
my kind of terrible. Yeah.
Oh my God, what's it called? Mad God. Have you heard that title?
No, is that a movie?
Yeah, this is one you might want to check out. It's called Mad God.
It's in that vein.
It is. Well, I'll read you what this says here. A figure known as the Assassin descends from the heavens into a nightmarish pit of monsters, titans, and cruelty. It's done in, like, stop motion type stuff. It's
stop motion monsters. Okay.
It's one of those movies that, like, whoever made this is either a genius or a psychopath, and it's just bad horror, but it's so good in it.
When did that come out?
This year, I think.
Oh, crazy.
Let me look it up here. This says 2001. This was Shudder sends me a whole bunch of, like, ads on everything, and this has been advertised like crazy to me from Shudder.
Like we unearthed this hidden classic or something, or
yeah, maybe they just got the rights to it or something this year. But yeah,
okay.
If you like that sort of thing, that's definitely the thing you probably want to watch. It's Phil Tippett.
Okay.
It's the
Rancor guy. He did the Rancor.
He did the effects on, like, every Spielberg thing, basically, in general. A bunch of Lucas stuff. Yeah, he's that guy, but he did a whole movie that's a schlocky kind of horror thing.
He might have had something to do with ED-209, or that was Stan Winston. I can't remember right now.
Sure.
But, yeah, that kind of stuff. But, okay. Monsters.
Yep.
And 2001. I'm wondering if this was like a weird passion project-y thing that took forever to make.
This?
So maybe, yeah.
They say it took him 30 years.
Yeah, so maybe it wasn't done in 2001. Maybe that's like it screened at a festival in its unfinished form or some shit. Like, weird, dumb stuff like that can happen. Where, like,
oh, I'm sorry. IMDb, did I say 2001? I said 2021.
2021.
Last year.
Okay, you said...
Yeah, okay. I might have misspoke.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
But it's this weird era, like, spanning creation process, so okay.
Yeah.
So worth signing up for Shudder, I guess. I've periodically had Shudder, but I just found I wasn't going there very much to justify it.
Shudder every now and then does like, hey, it's Halloween. Do you want like a year worth for $1? And like, yeah, okay, I'll pay you $1 to maybe watch something twice.
Sure. Like I did tune in and saw like Rawhead Rex or something. I was just like,
yeah,
oh great, this is stupid. Look at that. Yeah. Clive Barker hates this. Like it's just like, I don't know. Yeah, occasionally it hits the spot. And I did like that Cursed Movies series they did, and I guess there's a second season. That kind of like, oh, this horror movie was so screwed up, the people were dying or whatever, or like rumors came up around it, like Poltergeist and Exorcist and stuff. And Twilight Zone, the movie, which was a crazy one because people died. I can't watch that movie anymore.
Yeah.
it's too crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess also in the reading space, which curtails back into video games at the end of it, I promise. So it spreads around. I read like via this e-reader thing. I read Leviathan Wakes, which is the first Expanse novel. It's like a sci-fi series.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard of these?
I have heard the Expanse. If that,
there was an Amazon series that covered the first 6 of them. There's like 9 books.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah, it's 2 guys that one of them had something directly to do with George R. R. Martin. He was like a assistant or something, maybe helped keep him on task and finishing those on time. Because they put out like 9 books in 10 years or something. They were very efficient, told their tale, and it is over. But the pseudonym is James S.A. Corey or whatever. That first book's really fun. It's really good. Leviathan Wakes is a really fun time.
Okay.
It's kind of this split narrative between like this kind of Deckard-esque grizzled old cop guy who's very bitter and has like a very dark thing about him, and then someone playing a Paragon playthrough of like a Shepard, basically, is the other character.
This is my favorite Expanse on the Citadel or whatever. I don't know. This is my...
Yeah, he's very like... optimistic and full of vigor or whatever. Yeah, but makes a lot of dumb decisions and starts a lot of problems. It's or like Heat or something where it's like we're gonna tell one side and then the other side and kind of alternate, and then their paths will cross and something will happen. I really like that Miller character. He's played by Tom Jane, I believe, on the show. But he is not the core character for the whole series. James Holden is the Paragon guy. So book 2 has been a really rough time.
Oh,
I'm just like,
okay.
Oh, I really miss the perspective of the like burnt out like guy. That was way more my zone. That vibe was kind of what like led me to Disco Elysium and to embrace that. Was like guy researching a thing, but he's like just this hard boiled kind of character. That feathered in really nice, and I was like, okay, I will play this character now.
Sure, yeah.
But man, I'm missing him in the second one. There's some good stuff, like there's kind of this Space Marine character that joins the story, but she's like maybe a fifth of what's going on now. It's been rough. Caliban's War is the second one.
Yeah, I just looked it up here. Okay.
I'm gonna keep going because there's enough things in it that I like, but I really hope as the series goes on, it figures out like some other pillars to build things on, because I do not really love the character they're investing all their time in. It's bumpy, but it's sort of this like reasonably grounded but space opera in a way, but it's humans dealing with each other in the future. It's Firefly or something. There's not aliens exactly.
Okay. Yeah,
there's sort of a crazy threat. There's like kind of a pseudo alien threat, but it's not. It's like if we got a new cancer or something from another like a solar system, like a new virus has entered. Oh, okay. Kind of body horror type stuff.
Sure, yeah. Okay.
And it might have a malicious intelligence of its own, like a collective of some kind, but it's mostly people fighting, like Mars versus Earth versus the outer planets, this kind of thing. So that outer planets thing made me go like, I never played Outer Worlds.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna check it out. That was my big get in the Steam sale this year, was finally pulling the trigger on that.
And that's what you've been doing now, recently.
That's been most of my gaming time.
Okay.
It ate up good 27 hours or something last few days.
Okay.
I really like it.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yep.
I think when it came out, there was this like weird discourse around it that threw me off. It was like, yeah, Outer Worlds is okay, but the Outer Wilds, now that's some shit. And I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, see, I like Outer Worlds more than Wilds. I think Wilds is good, but like I think the way that was talked up is ridiculous. I don't think it's that good.
They're super different too. Like I played Wilds and had a fun time. It's like a crazy time puzzle thing. Like,
it's so different though. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you want like a full 3-course dinner of a game, this is way more content. It's huge in comparison.
Oh, for sure.
And going back to like 2010, like Fallout New Vegas was one of my favorite games that year. It was just really buggy.
Yeah.
I was having real tough like 360 cache issues, scripting things with like, oh, the guy I started the quest with had been promoted within the Brotherhood of Steel, so now he's at a different desk, and for some reason he won't acknowledge the quest I have to turn in. So
classic Bethesda.
I have to kill them all now.
Yep. Classic.
I had to murder all of them because it was just like, well, there's another quest line that isn't broken and it involves turning on them, so I guess I'll have to do that. I didn't want to, but okay. So it's the same people. It's Obsidian.
Yep.
And it tastes similar. Like there's little things even where it's just like, oh, this hunting rifle kind of feels like a rifle I really liked in Fallout New Vegas. So great. The only thing missing is when you repaired stuff in Fallout New Vegas, there's this amazing duct tape sound effect that's not in there.
Sure.
Because Bethesda probably owns it or something. But you can break down your weapons into different parts and fix things and tinker around. I kind of wish I started on a higher difficulty now because I've sort of overpowered everything. Like because I'm really attending to my team and upgrading them and getting everything set up. We're way too good. Like I really eyeballed the like extreme thing, like the maximum difficulty where like characters can die and it's like super invested.
Oh, I didn't want to do that because I like my characters too much.
I like my characters. That would have really screwed things up. But also it some of the things they decide is just like you can only sleep on your ship and you can only save on your ship. And it's like, that's just going to be annoying.
Yeah. Like
once I'm out and around, I'm going to want to explore, but I'm going to have to like be way more mindful of like planting my ship nearby and like going out on little expeditions or something. It'd be too much survival. I still wish I did the third one though, like the regular hard. That probably would have been the zone.
That's the one I did, and it felt too hard at the beginning for a bit, but then like it's one of those things that when you find a weapon that you kind of jive with, when you get used to how their weird slowdown system works and how to heal and kind of like giving orders, that difficulty evens itself out pretty quickly. Within a couple hours. Yeah,
like really early in normal or whatever, I died in like 1 or 2 fights and then was just slightly more careful and have never failed since then. So yeah, it's and my dialogue and everything is really high, so I've been able to avoid some conflicts in the way I like with these kind of games where it's just like, hey, why don't we just not do that and just walk away? And it's like, all right. Hey, give me a thing and I'll turn in the bounty, say you died. Smooth this over for you.
Actually,
like
that's
that kind of stuff.
That's one of the better games that does that sort of thing that I've seen in a long time. It's very, very good about that shit.
A lot of fun speech checks and stuff, hacking, like lockpicking, all that kind of stuff is pretty fun. I like how the thresholds, like for leveling, is very clearly spelled out. Like it's like every 20 levels of a skill, you get like a new like cool ability or something.
Yeah,
like it's like, oh, like this effect will start happening automatically and stuff. And it's like at some point I was just like, oh, cool. I can like see what's in this safe before I open it and decide whether I want to waste the lockpicks on it. And that's great. Stuff like that. Tons of little quality of life stuff too. Like you can like, cause there's going to be tons of quests with like 3 different options as to how you want to go about it. And you just look at like the marker on your screen and it's like, this one's if you want to talk to this guy.
Yeah.
This one's if you want to talk to this guy. It's like, oh, that's the one I want to do. So I'm going to go the 186 meters that way and talk to that guy. Kind of stuff. It's been pretty great, and super fits into like the same thing of just like dystopic future corps being total assholes. Like
some things are timeless, unfortunately.
It reads like subreddits I used to go in of just people complaining about like their jobs being totally out of touch and shitty. It's just like,
yeah,
oh wow, these like fictional characters in the future are experiencing similar things with like, yeah, we're gonna need new rollers for the machine. Acid ate them. You're not scheduled to have new ones for 5 months. It's not in the budget, so but we can't do it without it.
Yeah,
no, you can't have it. Oh, okay, well that's stupid. Like just frustrated email type stuff. It's making all that kind of peripheral stuff more engaging for me.
Totally.
Because in general I like that stuff, but I found in other games like I'm just zoning out. Like like Death Stranding had a ton of codexy type stuff. Bad example, I guess, but like the new Deus Ex games are a lot about reading emails and stuff too. I was basically just like, where's that password? Where's the password at?
Sure.
Like I'm just kind of skimming through it. Whereas this is like, there's like a little story here with like frustrated middle management or something. This is great. And yeah, just the kind of like some planet hopping, kind of that sweet spot with Mass Effect kind of stuff with your crew and their personal quests and stuff. Collecting toss ball cards. Like there's just a lot of little flavor in there that I'm enjoying. So
sure.
I think I've only run into minor glitches compared to the New Vegas time. Like it was just like I hovered over a body and it's like menu opened up and then I walked away and it was still there and then I had to go back to the body and kind of make it go away. Just little not important stuff like that. Nothing like game ruining. I got stuck once. I jumped off a bridge and got like wedged between some boulders, so I had to load a save. But generally speaking, nothing as nightmarish as 12 years ago with the New Vegas, which was also really great. It just had this really thick crust of not
technical issues.
Yeah. So
especially on the 360, just like overloading your cache and just not running at some point. That was weird.
Oh, it got real wonky. Yeah. So it's been fun playing something similar, but like little things ironed out. Like the Gamebryo engine allows you to kind of grab things and physics them around in stupid ways. Like this doesn't really have that. I can't grab a corpse and move them to my knowledge. I don't think.
I don't think so.
But it just simplifies things a little bit, makes it a little more manageable. So yeah, I respect the compromise because it's mostly about the writing and the story and stuff is what's carrying it. And the combat's pretty good. It's like maybe 2/3 Destiny or something.
It's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I like some of the weapons and how they feel.
At some point, I basically didn't shoot anymore because my companions were so much better. And they I went I don't usually do like this type of build. I went leadership by the end. And I was just basically like, anytime I told someone to do something, it's like, yeah, it does more damage. Like it makes them impossible to kill basically. And it recharges all the time. So like, I'm just going to just tell people to do shit and watch things melt.
I have started using their special abilities more and like increasing chances of it resetting if they kill one or something like that. Like, yeah, you could really spec in a way to just be like, you kill that, you kill that.
Yeah.
You kill that.
Yep.
All right, we're done.
It's great.
And then move on. And you get like a decent chunk of experience yourself out of it too.
Who are your favorite crew members to take with you?
Oh, I like Ellie because she's,
Ellie's
crabby.
Good.
She's a doctor person.
Yep. Ellie was one of mine.
I didn't really like Max at the outset, but I've started to. It's I was like, oh, it's a religious guy, but it's like a weird religion. It's not. It's not as it's not like contemporary religions.
No,
it's more rational in a weird way. It's mathematics based.
Yeah, it
makes more sense to me. I enjoy him in combat a lot, and kind of he has a cool look with these glasses I gave him. Okay. But I don't know. He was with the party for quite a bit on this planet because he had a side quest going on. Monarch, I guess, was where I just was. I think I can finally leave there.
Monarch is the hoity-toity place, right? The like upper class place.
No, it's kind of this like forbidden planet that shouldn't have corpse on it. It's like acid pools. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Relatively early, sort of. It's like the third place, but I've been squeezing everything out of that. And so far I have not been fatigued by it. I just wish the combat was a little stiffer, I guess. I wonder if I can toggle it up. I don't know if you can.
Like just
I think
the combat?
once you, just like up that difficulty a little bit. It's kind of like when I was playing Nier Automata mostly for the story. I like turned off a bunch of helps at a point because it was like, this is too easy.
Yeah.
It's kind of not engaging.
Yeah.
I'll look in those menus. So far, I've been really impressed with like the micro stuff it lets you tweak around. Like when I sat down with it, I thought my controller was broken, but it's because you can adjust dead zones. So I was like, wait, what's happening? When I move it just a little bit, I keep turning. It's like it knows that you can make that not happen. Oh, great. Okay. I was freaking out. Because I had Mass Effect kill a controller and had stick drift and stuff. I thought it happened again. But yeah. I don't know. Okay. I guess I felt bad that I didn't support that game earlier because I was like, oh, this is my wheelhouse for sure. This sucks. Like, I hope it did well. And it's like, oh, it did great. It sold 3 million copies and they're making a sequel. It's like, oh, fantastic. So, hooray. There's more just around the corner. The fate of Obsidian I felt was in my hands for a second there, and it's like, no, they're doing fine. Microsoft bought them, and they're doing better than ever.
Well, they're doing Outer Worlds 2, right? They announced
they're doing Outer Worlds 2, and then
back.
There's some weird mystery game that's coming out. Like, I don't know.
So I don't want to spoil necessarily anything for you, but you know how in the game, this is just my favorite thing to talk about with the Outer Worlds because it kind of like indicates to me why that game is amazing in a way a lot of games aren't. You know that like if you do certain things, you can get like, what's the word? Not traits, but like weaknesses of some sort or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
It offers weaknesses, and then you get additional perks to counter them a little bit, but you're accepting kind of flaws in your character. Yeah.
So I decided I'm just going to accept this because it's like, well, it's a living world. I kept doing dumb shit like jumping off of things. I was playing a lot of Destiny 2 at the time, and you just kind of like double jump or float. And like
that's the major differentiating factor. It's just like I have like a little dash jump thing, but it's like you're not supposed to just like vault over boulders and mountains and stuff like that. It's not the game.
So I hurt myself a lot, and one of the things I got is you're dumb now. You've just taken so much damage that like you're dumb, and that unlocked a separate ending that I was able to do, and I thought that was fucking fantastic. There's an ending that funny. You can't do unless you're dumb enough to do it.
My intelligence was the thing I spec'd for at the outset. That's my whole thing, so I don't know that I'll get that this time around, but I do jump off things a little recklessly sometimes. Maybe they'll offer it to me eventually. I have 3 flaws right now, I think. I turned down the robot one because I was like, I like robots. I'm sorry I had to kill them, but there's a lot of robots around on this first planet. But the other 3 I have, so I'm like susceptible to like corrosive damage, plasma damage, and then I think manta pillars are really scary or something.
Sure.
Which they look kind of freaky.
I like that sort of thing, like where my character is kind of being built by the game by me playing it a certain way. I think that's just fantastic.
Right. And you're not necessarily like the baddest person that ever was. You're like, no, he's scared of manta pillars.
Yeah, that's why I have
gives a little.
That's why I have Ellie do all the shooting for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I'm getting visited by the cat.
Oh, bear. That's okay.
I'm worried about him because it's like heat wave times, and he's wearing fur all the time.
Yeah. Do you guys have an air conditioner?
We do, yeah, kind of an in-window one. We have 2 technically, but the hose on the other one's really short, so we don't really know where we could put it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of useless.
Sure.
And it leaks water everywhere, so it's
that's a bigger problem.
But if things get to like forest fire, smoky, and 40 degrees or something, then it's like, all right, we got to bust out both. We got to figure this out.
Yeah.
But so far, it's been this like hiding from the heat, like close the curtains. But then it's like, okay, it's dipped below the temperature that it is inside. Open the windows and get the fans going, and we're going to try to cool this place out. It's like living on Tatooine or something.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah, it's been that's the hardship of the summer. Still pretty deep in and no smoke clouds, so we're lucky.
Yep.
Like mid-July already. So,
and honestly, it hasn't been. Our first like above 30 day, I think, was yesterday. Like it hasn't been the worst.
The worst summer ever. This town set a record and then burst into flames. Like it hasn't been like that.
Yeah, we did talk about that last year. The town.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. That was rough times. Okay. The plagues this year have been kind of a lot of rain in our area. We got like a huge deluge that could have flooded our alley again. That was a bit scary.
You know, when we were getting the rain again, I was thinking 10 years ago, I wonder if Nathan's going to go back and start squeegeeing the Stampede grounds again. Just like full circle back.
Oh, like it's like, it flooded again. They're going to need my services. Hell or high water too. And then, that's what I'm going to have to do. Get a temp job again. That didn't happen though.
No,
I think the Stampede is going normally.
It is.
But it's pretty close. It's getting pretty floody out there. But then all that standing water has unleashed the bug plague.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of mosquitoes out there.
Yeah.
Which impacted the Okotoks baseball game we went to, but didn't ruin it outright.
Okay.
But we went and saw the Okotoks Dawgs. Which is the closest thing to like competitive baseball this region has anymore since the Vipers and the Cannons.
Yeah. I've been to 2 Cannon games, and each time we were in seats where my dad was able to catch a ball from the game. And that's
great.
That's weird. That's just like, that's just weird.
I think we went to enough Cannons games that eventually me and my friend David figured out like there's this kind of gap behind the stadium where a bunch of them are just there because no one goes there. So we like left with a bunch of grass stains, like free baseballs.
Nice.
So like all foul balls, these teams aren't that great. So they're going to hit a lot of really bad fouls.
Sure.
Don't be back here. So the one thing with the Okotoks Dawgs Stadium, though, the Seaman Stadium,
God.
Ute Saito, it wasn't. It's some man from Okotoks named Don Seaman or something.
The Seaman Stadium. Yep.
See, that was my friend Ryan's observation. It's like, if you say this really fast, it sounds terrible. It's like,
the Seaman's, stadium.
But I'm just thinking about that video game with the weird fish, so it worked for me.
I mean, that was a play on that, I think. Kind of.
Oh, you Saito, you dastardly guy.
Yeah.
What a crazy cat. But the parking lot is like right there, so I feel a lot of foul balls could just bash a car if they're not careful.
Oh, it's
so
that
the like
close.
netting isn't that high.
Oh,
and it's reasonably a number of seats or whatever, but it's still a smaller town. Like maybe 2,000 people could be there, so it can just go right over into the parking lot.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, ate some spits, like some sunflower seeds.
Is that an American
thing? Had a hot dog.
That's probably. That's probably Canadian only. I'm gonna say it is.
Oh, maybe it wasn't. It was Old Dutch. To be clear, it wasn't actually Spitz brand, but it was essentially the same thing. Just in our seats, I looked down and I was like, "Oh, there's shells everywhere." Oh yeah, that was a baseball thing. I'm gonna get some.
You can get some spits.
Gonna get some spits, and then past like the 6th inning or something, I can't tell you what happened because I was so busy with my sunflower seeds. Like they won, it was 6-2, but like at a point I was like, the Weyburn Beavers are not scoring a single run tonight. And then I looked up and they had one already, and it's like, I don't know what happened. Like maybe somebody got a home run, something happened, but I ate sunflower seeds, so I was happy.
Okay,
but yeah,
cool.
That was, but. Yeah, come evening time, 7th, 8th inning, Mosquito City. It was starting to happen. So fortunately, they wrapped it up. We didn't get extra innings or anything. We just got to leave. So, but bug spray, it's important.
Yeah,
for baseball,
for sure. Yep.
Okay. Let's see here. Oh yeah. How do you feel about that Lisbeth Salander? Think she's okay?
Who?
Lisbeth Salander, the hacker extraordinaire from Sweden. She solved some murders,
No?
She's okay. The girl with the dragon tattoo.
Oh, that bitch. Name. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she's great. I'm reading those books again. That's like the other thing. I read the second one.
Okay.
I've resumed reading them, I guess. I read the first one, saw the movies, got bummed out they weren't making sequels, and then stopped. But now I guess I just have to finish it in my imagination with reading. So yeah, it's pretty good. It feathered into Berserk pretty well with like rape and things. It was like similarly dark, I guess. So it was an easy handoff. Yeah. But yeah.
Just been in a dark place, huh? In general.
I guess so, but it's just been like, this is more reflective of 2022 to me somehow.
Yeah.
Sunny dancing isn't the vibe today, so just people confronting it and dealing with it is helping, maybe.
Dude.
But yeah.
Oh man, you gotta read more Berserk, because yes, they're definitely the fact that there's just like there's so much bad happening, but these characters continue to just keep pushing forward. It's really, really inspiring in a weird way.
It's important for the dark times. I guess back to the dark times though, I have sought out some help. It's just going to take a long time.
Yeah.
I did like a screening with like the psychiatry clinic, and it's like, all right, great. Yeah. You've been accepted. So 5 months. So
yeah.
We're just waiting for that.
We're not leading in Calgary with mental health. It's pretty bad here. It's not terrible, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a few years ago when it was less needed by more people, I guess I was in it for a bit, and it didn't take quite this long. But at that point I was really resistant to like drug therapy and stuff. Now I'm just like, I need some chemicals. Like Tom Cruise was wrong. Yeah. I just need something. So yeah, I'm on a very light one. I don't know how much it's helping. A citalopram.
Yeah, I used that for a few years after I had a complete breakdown.
Yeah. Pretty low dose, but I guess I could.
I'm gonna guess 5 mg. I'm gonna guess
5 mg.
Yeah,
it's got the 5 mg going on. It's hard to say. It's not night and day. I felt like I had a really, really great April last year. Like it felt like my brain opened.
Yeah.
For the first time in a while, it was like a turtle shell or something. I don't know how that happened or how to trigger that again. But yeah, that's like the correct balance of sun and caffeine and
of 2021. You mean April 2021 or of this year?
Yeah, April 2021 was like
that's when we started talking more again.
Yeah, I know. I came out of the gloomy caverns and got excited about life again. So yeah. That only lasted so long, and I knew it would too. I was like, "Oh, this isn't gonna like." I know. That's my only fear is this is gonna go away again, and I don't know why.
It's the fucking worst. That I've been kind of going on a huge binge of just taking in media, doing podcasts about like a whole bunch of shit, because I'm in a kind of like a crest or whatever. I know I'm going to bottom out and just like not want to talk to anybody ever again for months or years. That happens.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get this shit in.
We've kept our movie show going through thick and thin just to keep something going on.
Some sort of like a schedule or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Some engagement with the human every so often.
Yeah.
It's been, I think my hope for the show was like I could go to different genres and like deep cut stuff I've never seen.
Yeah.
And like see new movies that I've missed and like structured around this.
Yeah.
But if I haven't seen them, a lot of people haven't seen them. Like it's like, oh, I wanted to listen to your show, but I don't know what that movie is. So it's like, oh yeah, I guess. So it makes it kind of like we're spoiling a movie you haven't even talked about. Like we did a Will Ferrell batch and we did this movie Everything Must Go, which is just like this $4 million like Sundance thing or whatever, like nothing movie from 2010. Like not a lot of listens on that one.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of not the Will Ferrell movie people care about. But that's why I want to watch it, because I've seen Anchorman and whatever. Yeah. So why would we talk about that? So yeah, it's been trying to kind of find the sweet spot between stuff we want to watch, but stuff that people would want to listen to. So we're doing big action movies from the 90s right now. That's a little more mainstream. hopefully. And some stuff I'd never seen. I never saw Universal Soldier.
Oh, okay.
That's their most recent one, just came out.
Yeah. You're not missing out, but sure, that's new.
There was, it's kind of a RoboCop bootleg or something. There was some okay bits in it. Like Dolph Lundgren is big.
I was gonna say calling it a RoboCop bootleg or whatever is giving a little more credit than I think it deserves. But yeah, it's
like
in
a
that
military
vein.
application of that. Yeah.
Yep.
And then what's coming up? Air Force One just happened.
Okay.
Oh no, it's about to happen.
Okay.
Which that movie could never be made ever again. Like it's just like 9/11 is one thing, but then like the presidency is just kind of a weird thing now. I don't know that action hero president is the first thought for most. It's a weird artifact. But
for sure.
He punches people. The president battles.
He says, "Get off my plane," and
breaks that dude's neck. Yeah.
Good shit. Yep.
It's pretty good shit.
It's pretty good shit.
But yeah, it's a weird one. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that we're focusing on right now. But I kind of want to curtail it to this sci-fi zone I'm in, like the Expanse and Outer Worlds and stuff, and look at like that late 60s sci-fi.
Sure.
I never saw Barbarella. Kind of want to see what that's about.
It's weird because sci-fi definitely had an era where everything was kind of shit, but it had personality, so it was still fun.
Charming.
Yeah. Where horror has almost arguably always been shit, which is why you go to it for personality of the different people doing this stuff.
Predominantly shit. Yeah. Like it's like 90 out of 100, 99 out of 100 horror movies will be really dumb.
Yeah.
But then there's the one that breaks through or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's such a volume of it. Like that Charles Band guy, like, Evil Bong 8, Evil Bong versus Puppet Master or something. I don't know. Ginger Dead Man. Stuff like this.
Yeah.
When I was going down his IMDb, it's just like, oh my God, this guy, he never stopped. And there's so much garbage you can watch. And I kind of enjoyed Puppet Master. So it was like, I kind of enjoyed that. What's up with the rest of this? It's like, oh, there's so much. It's stupid. The Puppet Master puppets fight the demonic toys at some point. If you want to check that out. And it's like, oh, okay, I can't go down this path. Unless like MST3K or Elvira or somebody is there. Like, I can't do this.
Sure.
Like, unironically. So, yeah. But Robinson Crusoe on Mars is on my list.
Okay.
I've heard
I've heard of
goofy. Yeah. I think it got a Criterion, so it must be something, right? Campy, whatever. I think he has a monkey he's hanging out with.
Okay.
On a distant red planet. Yeah. Just something about the Outer Worlds like vibe, getting away from that 50s Fallout thing and into a slightly different antiquated look is really working for me.
Sure, yeah.
Like it's like sci-fi novel covers from like the 60s is sort of the template. And that's so much more engaging to me than the 1950s at all. That just seems like the boringest decade of the 20th century. But that's what Fallout gravitated to. So I didn't like 4. I didn't get into 4. Did you play Fallout 4? Yeah.
I remember spending a lot of time building a base because that's just kind of fun. I don't remember spending a lot of time doing the game, so I'll say no, I didn't get really into it.
I started it. I think my biggest like thing in my craw with it was the storyline was focused on this like anxious dad who wanted to save his kid, and I was like, I don't care about this. Like, I don't want to do that. It's like it was the deal breaker for Evil Within 2. Like that was the other thing I was really looking at in the Steam sale, and I watched the trailer and I was like, I don't want to save this kid. I don't care about this kid. And I'm gonna just see what is Outer Worlds premise. And it's like, oh, you got woken up from like you were frozen on this ship, and you're here now, and that's it. Like that's all the setup we're giving you, and you define what that person's about. And it's like, oh, great.
You're kind of like
way better.
You're kind of like deputized by like a space pirate mercenary type person to continue his legacy.
This kind of Rick Sanchez, Doctor Who kind of guy. Yeah, Peter Capaldi or something rescues you, and now you're off to go define your legacy in the year 2344 or something.
Yeah.
Way more inviting than the anxiety-ridden. Like, I want to fight kooky-ass monsters. That was my, like, Evil Within 2 hope. There looked like there was some crazy beasts to be had.
Sure. The Evil Within 2 is weird because it's kind of an open world horror thing.
I did not hate that Alone in the Dark game. That was really bad.
Sure.
That was sort of an open world Central Park thing in 2008.
It has similar. It's definitely more linear, I would say. But like, there's kind of a Grand Theft Auto type feel of you going in like to an area and seeing on them, or actually State of Decay. It kind of has a State of Decay feel with a more like solid through line story mode that is put in there as well, but a bunch of side shit you could do too.
Sure. I it's still like vaguely on my mind, but I've had it on my wish list for years and never pulled the trigger on it. So it's just kind of like, oh God, I kind of want to look at it, but I might immediately be turned off by the character. So that was my fear, and that's what I did.
Is that not on Game Pass? Because they have that big Bethesda merge. It might be.
I'm not on Game Pass currently. I don't have it.
Okay,
but I just kind of got off the PlayStation Plus thing because it's just like I have this huge back catalog of stuff I only kind of care about.
Yeah,
and I could just piecemeal buy Yakuza 0 and then I just have it and I can play it in 5 years if I want to, instead of constantly paying Sony. So
sure,
I'll have to look at the lineup. I know it's been like
it is, by the way,
vaunted for some time. It is on there.
It's on Game Pass, yeah.
Maybe post upgrade that'll be a way to dip my toes in a bunch of different pools and see what's going on.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I need that just now.
Yeah.
But
sure.
But hey, if Outer Worlds 2 is a Microsoft thing, maybe it'll be on there.
It will 100% be on there. Yeah, I think.
There you go.
I think so.
Great. Yeah, but okay. Let's go back to I'm not going to talk about my family being frustrating.
Yeah.
It's just
worse than usual. Because I think you've said here and there some complaints. Or is it just more of that?
It's kind of just there's probably elephants in the room of stuff I just can't get into without, like, this Roe v. Wade thing is probably going to strike people different ways in my family tree, and I don't want to talk to them about it.
Yeah.
Same with, vaccines, the trucker convoy. That was the other thing going on when I was in the hospital, was watching the news about that and just being like, oh God, all right, let's change the channel. Oh, The Fugitive's on. Thank God.
It always is.
I'm just going to escape back to 1993 when things were simpler.
Sure. Yeah.
That whole thing, I guess this thing keeps happening to me where my sleep schedule, like I don't even have a job right now.
Yeah.
But it keeps flipping around in the wildest ways.
Okay.
To where I keep staying up later and later and later and later, and eventually it's like, oh, you're just upside down. Like you're going to bed at 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
You're waking up at 7 p.m. and then you're staying up all night again. And it's just like, I've had to do this like 10 times in my life or something, where I just have to like stay up a whole day to like reset this clock. But I've found in recent times, it's like, I just don't know if that's my circadian rhythm or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like it, cause I'll get real tired, go to bed at like 10:30 and then wake up at like 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then just be awake way too early. And it's awful. And I didn't get a 9-hour sleep like I was hoping. And it's just the worst. Do you have this happen? Do you know other people?
So I have I definitely have this problem because I'm a night person. No matter what shift I'm on or whenever I go to bed or whatever, if I have to wake up early, I have trouble sleeping until it's about 3 or 4 in the morning. Then I can easily go to sleep as normal. And if I'm working or if I'm doing something at night, I'm just naturally awake starting at like 9 or 10 p.m. easily without anything.
Like, I used to work at video stores before that wasn't a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And my first, like, taste of, like, night shift stuff was like, oh, it's inventory night.
Yeah.
We have to stay up all night to scan everything in the store. And it was like, oh, this is great. This is awesome.
Easy.
Because it was like, oh, this fits like a glove with how I want to be.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the sun's coming up. I'm going to bed. Like it, but so few things cater to that. Like,
yeah,
especially in a kind of mid-sized city, it's not like there's the awesomest night scene. It's just like, oh, where do you want to eat? Denny's. It's open.
Yeah. Even
You know?
even the IHOP here closes at like 8 on a lot of days.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Yeah.
And during COVID, it was like, that's not even a thing. Like,
Yeah.
Denny's was closing at like 10 p.m. or something. It's like, great. There's just, the world is closed. You're just here in the middle of the night. So I'm like cooking in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I had my first like grease fire in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Grease
It was,
fires
like,
are
midnight.
terrifying. They're terrible.
I fortunately had seen enough like terrifying videos on Reddit or something of people doing it all wrong and like pouring it out or like throwing water in it or something. So I was just like, oh God, okay, set down this oil, grab the lid, put it on.
Yeah.
There we go. It's gone. Oh God, the fire alarm's going off and it's midnight. That was the worst part of it.
Yes.
Was like, I'm going to piss off the whole building. Shut up. I know there's smoke. We'll open the window. It's fine. It's contained.
Yeah.
But I super scorched like one of my favorite cooking pots. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was bad. And I opened the lid and there's just like a smoke demon.
Yeah.
It was bad. But
Yeah.
hey, it was really hot. It was like 500 Fahrenheit or something. I shouldn't have left it on there like that. It said high heat, but I shouldn't have ignored it that long. But whatever. I was searing some meat for like a stew. But not that way. That was not the way.
Yeah, the first time I've ever had a major fire was definitely searing a steak, I think. Just like a cut of meat. Yeah, that's the way they'll get you.
Yeah. So that's the kind of nightmare midnight situations. But that's like early in my day was midnight. So
Yeah.
I've done one of these recently, but yeah, I'm having this horrible like split sleep thing where it's like, all right, everything, the table's set for a great 9-hour LeBron sleep. It's going to be awesome. And then I just don't do it. My body just wakes up and is like, you're done. You're done sleeping. It's 4 a.m. It's like, oh no. So early bird lunch, like breakfast and stuff. We were looking at what's the earliest breakfast place that opens now, which is totally backwards.
Yeah.
And then giant naps in the middle of the day because I just crash super hard. So ugh. I feel it's another like millstone around getting a job again is just like, all right, night shifts only. What does the city got? And it's it's not the greatest lineup of options.
Also, a lot of the night shift stuff is downtown, and like I've been downtown at night. It's kind of scary.
Freaks come out at night. I've heard this for years.
Yeah.
And a little bit, especially again, anecdotal stuff now. It's about like, oh, I can't take transit anymore. There's too much heroin. And I don't like heroin enough to do it.
Yeah.
To go on the train.
Well,
yeah, I guess so.
as far as you know.
As far as I know, I was reading some William S. Burroughs and got freaked out because that guy is a heroin head. Like, Naked Lunch, the book, is so wild, and it came out in like the 50s, the vanilla decade I was complaining about.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I was just like, dude, I can't. Like, I might watch that movie again, but this is like way too. Like, that was more grimdark than I could handle in a way. This was like too soaked in heroin for me to handle at the time. Like, I watched Cronenberg's new movie, had a real fun time with that, but this is like beyond that pale into Crazy Town. So I couldn't deal with the Burroughs.
Sure, that's fair.
The unedited like OG cut or whatever was on there. So yeah, I was reading Dennis Rodman's biography at the time, and that seemed like so sane and down to earth by comparison. It was like, oh yeah, finally we're back to just like a 3-day drinking binge in Las Vegas that ended with him crashing a motorcycle. Nice normal shit.
Honestly, that is kind of normal though. Like, people do that shit. That's normal.
Yeah, like that was way more okay than what was going on with the like frumpalumps or whatever they're called. There's crazy things that happen. So yeah, reading books, it's dangerous.
Yeah, okay. Shouldn't do it. I agree.
Shouldn't do it, dude. It's yeah, that's why they're banning them in America. It's too freaky.
Yeah,
like that one should be on the list. That was no, I'm joking. Don't ban William S. Burroughs.
Too many truths.
Too many truths in there. Yeah. Okay. So, and then with the heat wave, I guess we're cooking outside more. Got the grill set up.
Okay.
I have hopefully a grill so like lame that no one in Forest Lawn would steal it.
Oh, yeah, because you're on a ground floor now, right?
We're on a ground floor. Yeah. We've had at least 2 like people in jeopardy in the middle of the night come up to the window while I'm watching a movie asking for help, which was awful. It's the worst.
This is an complete honest question. Have you considered getting a gun?
No.
Like, seriously? Not yet? Okay.
But pepper spray, yes.
Okay.
That's been like the bear spray kind of thing. That's where I've been like,
sure.
Wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
Just to have. I don't know if you're supposed to use it on people, but if you need to. And then just like, oh man, July 1st, we had like 2 like screaming fights happening in neighboring buildings.
We were in your area on July. In your area.
Did you hear some of the screaming?
No, we weren't in your area. We were off of the main drag there because there's that like
International Ave. Yeah,
there's that hill where you can just like watch fireworks and stuff. And I came home.
You're right. That is an okay place for it.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, just the it gets a little sketchy around here. I think someone stole a table off our porch.
Oh,
like, stuff like that. Like it was just like kind of realizing after the winter left that you're like, did we sell that? What happened to that table that was here? I think someone stole it.
You don't even remember? That's pretty great.
Because like I remember it wasn't that useful, so we were sort of thinking about like maybe leaving it at a take and go or whatever, but I don't think we did that. So someone just took it, and that's ultimately the same. It was a little disconcerting. It's like, should I get a big chain for the grill or something? No, I'll just buy like an electric grill, which no one will want.
Yeah.
Like, oh, propane. What about charcoal? Nobody wants just a electric grill. That's lame. So we're making hot dogs and stuff out there mostly. But I might try some slightly more adventurous stuff as the heat wave continues and our diet gets more narrow. Because it's like, oh, we got this pizza. I wouldn't mind reheating it in the oven, but it would kill us if I did that. So
right,
microwave is good enough today. You know?
Yeah.
My food standards go down as the temperature goes up. Yeah. Like I should make some new soup stock, but I don't want the burner on for 4 hours, so we're just gonna keep collecting bones until it's cooler out.
Yeah, we need a rain or something to just really ice it down completely, start over again.
And then the I guess the final good thing that happened, and probably the last thing on my list, is we finally threw in the towel on our old Keurig coffee maker and got like a pot coffee maker again. Okay. And it's fun. It's just like, oh, coffee kind of makes the anxiety needle go up, but so long as I stay home, it's fine.
Yeah. You kind of just have to know your limit with it too, I think.
I've surpassed it a couple times.
That's a problem.
But today I was dancing on the very edge because I had like 3 little cups of like brew coffee, and then I had a big Americano, like a espresso in there, and I was like, this might put me over the edge, but I was in the zone with Outer Worlds, weathered the storm, don't think anything bad happened. I wasn't freaking out too bad. The thing with being awake in the daytime, though, is I'm very jumpy because we're right near the front entrance of our building. So, like, anytime people are going in or out or doing anything, it's like, what are they doing out there?
Yeah.
They're gonna be mad at me for some reason. They're going to come up to the window and be like, what are you doing? You're just sitting there playing video games? In the middle of the day, you're an adult. You should have a job. It's like, why is this person here?
I definitely
that hasn't happened.
I definitely had that feeling as well back then, where anytime, like, I always thought, should I just like take my vehicle out and park it somewhere else to make it look like I've left or something.
Yeah, I feel like good when I have to go out for groceries or something. It's like, my car left today.
Yeah.
It wasn't just there the whole time. So someone might see it and think I'm out doing things.
I definitely understand this weird, like, anxiety of I'm not doing
like
what society says I should.
Get so pissed off.
Yeah.
Oh, I keep returning to it because it's fitting so well, though. Like, the anti-corporation slant of Outer Worlds is delightful for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, no, screw this. This is terrible. You guys are just slaves to Elon Musk.
Yeah.
You idiots. But it's like, well, it's not Elon Musk. It doesn't say that. Oh, it's implied.
Yeah.
It's totally Amazon and all that shit.
For
in the
sure.
Future.
Yeah.
They're going to buy Monarch and totally have underground labs on manta pillars doing weird experiments. You know it. It's basically on his tweet. Yeah. So just having like some video game version of resisting that in any way is pretty fun. Our little crew of rebels. So
yeah.
Fantastic. But yeah, coffee, just big batch coffee. It's fun to go back. Although we're at a point again where it's like it's hot enough to, should I be drinking a big pot of hot coffee is also a consideration. But
have you considered French press?
We have one.
Yeah.
We do have a French press.
Use French press.
You're right. I guess I could trot that out as an alternative method of making it. It's just with the new machine. We were so enamored with it and everything.
Okay.
It keeps it hot for you for a period of time, you know?
Sure.
So you can kind of gradually drink a pot of coffee over a couple hours.
Yeah, for sure.
Over the sumo or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, it's and there you go. That's Nathan's year of life. I don't know that, like, there's been some of the big blockbuster movies and things too, but I don't know that any. Okay. The first movie I saw like high in a movie theater was Jurassic World Dominion, and that really made that movie better.
You went to see that, huh? Wait.
I was like, man, everyone's saying this is really bad.
Yeah.
But I still want to see Sam Neill and like Laura Dern back and everything, but it's going to be bad. So let's just load up on some edibles before we go in there.
Okay.
And just laugh at it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was great. There were so many dumb things happening, but I was like, just tittering away back there, to the point where I was like, this is not a beat where people should be laughing. So I hope other people in theater aren't mad at me, but some people left during the movie. Like, they just weren't enjoying it. So I think I had made the right call.
Sure. Yeah.
There was those fire locusts. I don't know. Did you check it out? Did you see that new one?
Fuck no. Not in theaters anyways. That's one I'm going to definitely hit the high seas and throw my pirate flag up for.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it was just because Fallen Kingdom was also like pretty critically lambasted.
Yeah.
But we had a pretty fun, dumb time with that one too. And I was sober for that.
Yeah, I could see that. For that.
Yeah, but this one's like another 23% down on the Rotten Tomatoes meter or whatever, so I needed chemical help to get there.
Sure.
But I had a fun time. I'm not saying it's a good movie.
No,
but
of course not.
If you're toasted, it's hilarious.
It makes it easier at least to deal with, if nothing else, I guess.
It's like, wow, they spent so much money on this. It had a thing. On the other front of that, though, I mentioned this in a tweet. It's tried the same thing with like Matt Reeves, the Batman, and that thing doesn't work that way. It is like,
oh man,
why is this so slow? Why are they just standing around? Like, I was just losing my mind. But so
that seems like
didn't help that.
You should have known that though. That seems obvious, right?
We did a chunk of it sober, but weren't thrilled with it.
Okay,
and then we're like, hey, maybe chemicals, and that was not the answer. It just made all the long drawn out conversations and mystery beats seem that much more insane. It was like, what is John Turturro even talking about? Why are they still talking? Oh my God. But
I can see that. Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in the proper state of mind, but I don't think I like the direction they went with. It was too serious about itself. Like, it's the wrong balance for me. Burton had a balance I enjoyed. Nolan maybe took it too dramatic.
Sure.
This is a weird spot. I don't know. Did you like it or?
Yeah, I love it, and I just disagree with what you're saying, so it's fine. I don't care.
That bat was in the cage, and he saw the envelope, and
yeah,
it took him 5 minutes to peel that tape. It was so thick.
He's really. I
don't know.
He's also. He doesn't solve anything himself, which I find hilarious. He gets help from everybody.
He does, like a beat after. It's just like,
oh sure.
Oh, the light. Crap! I shouldn't have put him there. Oh well. I guess he's dead. I solved the riddle. Oh, he's gonna blow up a bunch of. Oh, they're blowing up. Shit. God damn it! I'm the world's greatest detective. There's a bunch of little things where it's just this is an airtight plan. He is just totally dancing circles around you. It's almost weird how it doesn't go worse than it does.
Yeah.
It's just if all those mad shooter guys he recruited didn't get so fixated on killing the Batman instead of just Gotham City, it would have been so bad.
Yeah.
But
honestly, it was pretty bad even with that.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of flooding, the Gotham Knicks or whoever plays there aren't gonna be able to start their season on time. It's rough.
Yeah. It's rough here at Gotham.
Have to play at the university. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think I got to a grouchy place with Matt Reeves earlier this year, though, when we did a Planet of the Apes thing. I don't like his sequels to one of my favorite movies.
Oh, okay.
I feel he really changed the tone into something I did not care for. So I was not optimistic going in. I was a grouch pot. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
And I like those Arkham video games, and it felt kind of like they looked at those. That was a vibe I was getting with Peter Sarsgaard's neck collar and all that. It just was this could have happened in the game. I did that basically.
Yeah.
It just didn't blow up in my face.
Sure. Yeah.
I will say Robert was totally fine though. There was moments where I forgot that's who I was hearing and stuff. It was just
yep.
Okay.
I thought he was good.
Yeah, he's good.
I like him actually though, just in general. I think he's pretty good.
I wish Catwoman had a more cat mask. It's she kind of just had a balaclava on that kind of looked like cat ears. It was almost like the thing they did with Anne Hathaway, where it's when she puts her goggles up, it kind of looks like cat ears. It's just wear a cat mask. I like cats. Just lean into it.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It definitely doesn't want to be, a comic about a guy who dresses up as a bat. It definitely wants to.
I get the Penguin is kind of just I'm wearing a purple suit, but it's Colin Farrell in this crazy makeup and he's all scarred up and everything. So it's a little bit, he doesn't quite I was hoping at the end he'd put in the cigarette and a monocle and just Burgess Meredith it up for me right at the end. Just now that Carmine Falcone's gone, I can reveal my true self. And but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
If it made $900 million, they're probably going to make more. And TV shows and whatever. So
there's 3 of them they're making, I think, right? Is the number?
Okay.
Something like that.
So I either got to get on board or just
not watch them.
Take a leave.
Yeah.
I guess I could just not watch them. Or I definitely won't watch them high though. That's the secret.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems like a mistake. That
bad decision.
Yeah.
Is miscalculation. So yeah, I take responsibility for that.
Sure.
I kind of hope they don't go for the 3 hours though. That was something I felt this story could have been told in 30 less minutes if you wanted it to.
I kind of didn't think they needed to do anything with the dad and the sins of the father, and they didn't have to do any of that. I didn't think really.
Oh yeah, that's kind of what the conversations with Turturro and stuff were revolving around, and I was just oh my god, I don't know, I didn't even know Thomas Wayne. So what are we doing?
Right. They did a lot of what feels like setup for the next ones in this one. They have to get some of that in or something. And I kind of get it, but
at the foundations.
At the same time, I'm here for the Riddler. I'm here for that story. I'm here for fucked up Jigsaw in this universe or whatever, essentially.
Yeah, and he still does the man, this guy's good at making cards. He's just got a card shop in his lair. he's putting some thought and effort into these.
Yep.
That. Yeah. Jim Carrey had goofy cards too. It's just no, that's essential. You need to have an envelope with a weird thing and
ransom note writing stuff on it. And yeah,
you got to have it.
And it's there.
It's essential.
It's all there.
Yeah. Yeah, but oh well. I'll like reserve like true judgment because of my altered state. But yeah, it wasn't like the perfect thing for me.
Yeah, it might not be something you like just in general. There's a bunch of people that didn't like it, but
I generally like Batman though.
Yeah,
like I think I've gradually realized like I think I just don't like Spider-Man. I think he sucks.
Oh, okay.
Like it was like, oh, I just watched the perfect Spider-Man movie and I thought it was bad.
Which one?
Because I just don't care. That was Into the Spider-Verse, like the animated one.
Yeah. I
was like, there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't care. So I know that now about myself, and I will leave. So that was where it was. And they're making a sequel to that. They had the team up movie. I didn't see those. I didn't see this team up movie. I didn't bother because I knew.
Which team?
Triple the Spider-Man.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Triple Nathan's disdain. So yeah, that's how it goes. But okay, now we're getting into Grouch Town. Let's not do that. I could do that. I have other things I didn't like, but that's not what we should focus on.
What else didn't you like? That was like worth talking about, if any.
Oh, I don't want to have this argument. It's not good.
Okay, what didn't you like?
It's Multiverse of Madness. I really didn't like it.
Okay.
I know you loved it though, so much that you started a show about Sam Raimi.
No, that's not why. We started the show, or the plans were for the show anyways, because Evil Dead. But
I thought it was the catalyst. Like it was like, man, Sam's back. Let's jump in.
No,
but okay.
No, in fact, we talked about that on TVP. We weren't even going to discuss that on the Sam Raimi thing, just in general. That wasn't going to be part of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The things I like Multiverse of Madness a lot because of the Sam stuff. I don't care about any of the comic book shit at all in that.
Oh, I think my issue with it wasn't like that it's this kind of Sam Raimi horror elements put into this thing. Like if it was sold as that to me, I would have been like, oh, okay, there you go. It was post Loki where like they kind of kicked the door open on the multiverse stuff.
Oh yeah.
I was expecting a total wild Rick and Morty like jumping all around. Like this is the big thing that happens in this movie with like, oh, we got all these characters here, like Professor X and stuff is there. In my movie, that's like the first minute of that movie. And then it goes crazy from there, you know? Like it's
yeah. No, but it's just that
like,
wasn't what I was expecting because
totally different movie. Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about Doctor Strange and I don't give a fuck about the multiverse. What I care about is Wanda being a weird, creepy, Evil Dead character in this thing she's trying to get through. I care about her just like chasing them in this underground water tunnel or something that
does happen. That scene was driving me insane because like, why did they stop?
Right.
She's obviously going to make it through that door. Yeah. It's just a matter of how. And it's like, she didn't even need to go through the door. She's just on the other side because magic. And it's like, okay, you guys really should have kept running.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
This is all the stuff I liked about it. It's just, this is dumb. The thing that I liked about it is like, oh, Sam Raimi made an MCU thing. Okay. Like he had like actual say in some of the ideas and stuff here because there's a lot of like Raimi shots and just kind of silly, dumb shit in there.
Like when she goes into the puddles and stuff and they're just like, oh my God, stay away from that.
Yeah.
There's a reflection. It's like, yeah, okay, I can see who's making this. But
yeah.
Like the battle that preceded it and stuff with like the bubble and everything.
I don't fucking care. I don't care about Marvel shit like in general, basically.
I think this was a corner of it that I kind of did. Like I liked that Doctor Strange first movie quite a lot. And I felt the potential. Okay. Yeah, okay. I thought the multiversal potential stuff was like this could really hit a sweet spot. Like this could be one of my favorites. And then it was because it wasn't that, I was really mad at it.
Yeah.
So like it's sort of dented my enthusiasm for the new Thor, which is I'm scared of it.
You should not
because I liked Ragnarok a lot. Like I thought Ragnarok was fantastic. So it's like, well, Taika's making another one, so this could go great, but maybe I'll hate it.
Do you want a worse Ragnarok? Like, it's still very similar feel, but it's not... I mean, I don't like Ragnarok, so...
That's one of our favorites around here, so... Okay.
As
we're figuring out the different calibration.
Yeah, I don't care about, like, the Marvel shit, really. I care about them doing something maybe neat and novel in them, and that feels like it's gone out a while ago now.
I really thought with like Gator Loki and like Lady Loki and all that stuff, I was like, wow, that's so nutty. What a thing. And like, oh, we have
actually
the Infinity Stones.
Moon Knight was good.
Garbage.
Moon Knight was actually good, I will say too.
Brittany watched it. I kind of shied away from it.
Okay.
But
that was good.
yeah, I've just been skeptical about how they've been handling Phase 4, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just like there's so much like possibility space. And it's like, why are we doing this so slowly? Like, just get crazy with it.
Did you watch The Eternals?
Crazy. No.
Yeah, don't.
I didn't. that one was another like seeing the Rotten Tomatoes and stuff, seeing tons of ads for it, and just like, God, I don't know any of these characters. Like, I just don't. I have nothing to latch on to.
No, you definitely know them because they're just like old world gods that are taken from mythology and made into superheroes for a movie that doesn't matter.
Yeah, my only like was the giant like things like the Galactus,
the Celestials. Don't see it.
Okay, that was my only like.
That's why I went to see it.
Slow burn way they're gonna get Galactus in here finally and have a giant ass crazy looking thing for me to see.
That's why I went to see it, because I'm like, Celestials.
And not much Celestials in there for you in the 150 minutes.
There's a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. It's right there on Disney Plus. I can click it anytime I want. Take a look at it. But I haven't.
Maybe you'll love it. I've realized I'm on the opposite side of a lot of people when it comes to Marvel. Most people are like, yay, and just happy that they're getting anything. And I'm just sitting here
you've been keeping up with the shows and stuff though, right?
Yeah.
Like we've failed. Like we got like 2 into Hawkeye. No, not Hawkeye. Captain Soldier and the Winter Falcon.
No, that was it. Yep, Captain Soldier and the Winter Falcon. You got it.
Captain Soldier and the Winter Falcon. Yep. We saw the first like one, and then partway through the second or something, it's like, do you want to watch this? And I was like, So we just stopped. We just couldn't care.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's fair.
Brittany's stayed up on a little more with Moon Knight and stuff, but I don't know. Like She-Hulk looks silly.
I haven't actually seen any trailers or anything.
Yeah, they're going in directions I just don't know that I can handle anymore.
Yeah,
which bums me out because I was on board for a while. It got me on board for a good chunk of time.
That's fair.
Like I was off and then I was on again. Like post Dark Worlds, I kind of got back in because I thought that looked real lame.
Okay,
I've never fully seen it. I saw a big chunk of it on cable TV. I was like, that seems like I got enough. So yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, is Miss Marvel the thing to do? Is it for like younger audiences?
Well, the thing is that I like Ms. Marvel. I like that character. So no, it's fucking garbage. The show has not done it justice at all.
Oh no. I thought it was doing good stuff early on with your tweet.
It does do good stuff early on when she's like hanging out with the family and learning about like some Pakistani culture and like that stuff's cool. And then they try to do Marvel stuff in there and just like, oh, fuck off. This is such garbage. Like I like the comic-y Marvel stuff when it's done well, and I don't feel it's been done well in a long time from them.
Yeah.
Like I think they blew their load with like Avengers and Endgame. Because that was like the big comic book reveal, right? The prestige, 10 years worth of shit culminating. And now, I don't know, maybe it's part me too. Like, I was on the front lines, man. I was there from Blade, from like right from the get-go. I've been watching these things, and now it just feels like it's not the thing that I like anymore. Because it's not about the comic book characters. It's about making kids' movies with them.
I guess so. Yeah, I feel like they've lost some focus or something. Like, again, I was really impressed with Loki. I thought it did something really interesting, and it was like opening up a whole avenue of stuff. But I don't know if they feel they can't make an entire batch of movies like contingent on a show people may or may not have seen or something.
Yeah,
like. I guess in that way, I felt Multiverse was weird because it was almost like, oh, this is the real season finale for WandaVision. And it's like, well, good thing we watched that.
It's unfortunate because it is. Yeah. And well, I liked WandaVision until that last episode, and then it becomes a Marvel thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there were some good things in WandaVision too, but it kind of faltered a bit. I don't know. I think I liked where Loki ended though.
Yeah,
it ended with like so much in the ether for it to go places, and then Shang-Chi I felt like opened the time span a little in a way.
I haven't seen
like,
it.
Okay, there's at least stuff of like, oh, dude, 1,000-year-old character, that's nothing. This has been going on forever. And then I guess that was sort of the tee up for Eternals to be like, this has been going on forever. But I didn't care about the follow-up. I just liked that there was a big dragon.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I have heard that that's the one I haven't seen. I have been told, oh, you haven't seen the one that's like actually kind of worth watching out of the last few things.
Of the Phase 4 like movies I've seen, it's the one that was like, you know what, that was okay. There's some like big dumb stuff at the end of that movie. There's something slightly different going on with like martial arts stuff, and then Ben Kingsley's just being so goofy. It's ridiculous how silly he's being. So that was fun, I guess. But yeah, still, even then, it's like 3 out of 4. Like, it was pretty good. That was a fun evening for me. But
yeah, okay,
yeah. That whole web of media is there, but I don't know. I'm trying to think what like the big giant stuff that's coming down the pike I'm like hopeful for. I'm a little
that's coming up.
Yeah, like what's left this year that's like, you know what, that put that on my calendar.
I mean,
I'm ready.
I have to see what this new Evil Dead is. From this year.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
there's new movie coming out. Is it?
Well,
follow up to the 13.
Well, they say 2022, and
okay,
it's not.
There's 5 months left.
It's not done by like Raimi and his crew. It's like another thing.
But it's not that 2013 movie.
I think it might be a follow up to that. I don't know like anything about it, honestly.
Okay.
Evil Dead
I like that
Rise
2013 movie
is what it's called
to some extent. And there's a video game, right? People like the video game?
There's a bunch of video games, yeah.
Okay. But like a new one.
Oh, yes.
This year.
Yeah. That is more of a multiplayer type thing.
Is it like that Jason game? Is it like...
It's a better version of that. But yeah, because it's made by that studio.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
But
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's...
But the licensing is all ironed out this time. It's...
Oh, yeah. And it has a lot of Ash versus Evil Dead in there, which I'm finding out because we're going through that right now. Those seasons.
I watched 2 seasons of that.
Yeah,
and had a pretty good time.
That show's great. Yeah,
it's it's good stuff.
Yeah,
you get to spend a lot of time with Ash Williams.
Yeah,
a lot of time.
Yeah,
he's in every episode.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so if you're looking for Bruce Campbell, he's there. He made a show for you.
True.
But okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to look at my calendar and see if there's stuff.
I'm sure.
But in the meantime, I'm playing old video games that I'm enjoying. So
yeah,
that always works out.
I mean, that's
and fair. Elden Ring still exists. They still made it, and one day I can play it.
Yeah, I am interested to see how you like the changes. I think it's going to be hard to go back to some of the things having a jump button is too good. Like it is just too good. And I have to. Is that General Boscone basically in the game? Like, isn't there a big armored horse boss battle? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's more to him that I'm not going to spoil for you because his whole thing is kind of wacky. But yes, there is a giant dude on a little normal horse, which is pretty great.
All right. Yeah, the whole that whole game is very, very exciting to me, but
yeah.
I can't play it apparently. We did the does it run and it's like, no, it won't. It's like,
yeah.
Gotta leave it.
Have you considered buying a PS5 just like as a...
I guess there was a Reddit post that was getting some clout. Like, it's like, hey, they're out there. You can conceivably see one now on a store shelf and think about it.
Yeah.
but it's just so big. I've always been opposed to how gigantic it is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in a position where I'm like, yeah, waiting for that slim at best. And that seems like, oh, they're not even anywhere near doing that. It's like 2 years in and almost no games have come out because of the pandemic or whatever. So,
yeah.
Bleh. Is that what you got? Is that what you're doing?
No, I couldn't.
New consoles?
I couldn't care less.
Okay.
Every time they announce something and it's like, yeah, and it's also coming on PC, I just like...
Oh, thank goodness.
I just, you know how people hear like the cha-ching sound or whatever? I hear like that just reversing or something back into my wallet. It's like, yep, there we go.
Money flying back at me.
Yep.
Yeah, because even the Sony stuff is popping out all over PCs. It's weird seeing like God of War on the like Steam store page.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even need to have a thing anymore.
Yeah.
So
like I'm not against the idea of having a PS5. It would make like streaming games easier because then I don't have to worry about PC issues and like it's doing its own thing or whatever. You're just capturing video. But like I don't know that I can easily go back to not having a huge global community fix little bugs and issues or put in mods, and I love that shit.
Like kind of the degree of control you have over your experience is just different. Yeah, I got really used to the console world for a long time. Like sometimes I'll even go back when it doesn't really make sense. It's like, I want achievements. I'm gonna play this for with crappy frame rate and worse loading times because I can get little ding sounds periodically. But I'm maybe weaning off of that. Like Dark Souls 3 was all like Steam achievements, which aren't as satisfying, but it still leads you to all the corners of the game, so it does its job.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about achievements and never have, so that's never really hit me.
I got that disease for a while.
Fair.
Open season.
I also wasn't a 360 dude. I didn't care about the 360 and I didn't play one. I think a lot of people that did got that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure. We did. My disk drive died though. I guess that's
I remember.
Something happened to Sean too. Yeah. So I thought I fixed it. I had like a cleaning disk. I was like, there you go. I can install Dark Souls 2 ready to play. And then like a couple months later I go to do that and it's like, nah.
Yeah.
It's toasted. It's like, I don't want to spend money on old broken crap.
Yeah.
But I kind of need to. I don't know. But that's something for the future. So next July, we'll see what's going on with that. I hopefully I'm getting out of the clouds and I can do stuff again. But whatever.
I had one more thing I wanted to ask you about. That's pretty pertinent, and we haven't discussed this in a long time.
Okay.
What do you feel about Giant Bomb and their dissolving?
Well, yeah, it's been a strange, like, I'm trying to think. Obviously, since 2013, when Ryan Davis passed away, changed the whole pallor of that for me. I periodically got back on board here and there for stretches of time. Like Dan Reichert's Mario Party was a thing I enjoyed.
Okay.
I never got to play those games to death, so seeing that happen was amusing. There was kind of a dicey patch there with like really angry Game of the Year stuff that really bummed me out. The year Automata came out, that really didn't help anything. I don't want to say that was entirely Abby Russell's fault, but it wasn't. It
was entirely her fault. I listened to those.
It was frustrating stuff.
I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. She was trying to be like kind of there, not used to the discussions and like the banter. I get it, but I mean, people make mistakes. It's fine. I don't hate her for it, but it sucked.
I mean, there's kind of the, like, Jeff can kind of bully around the other guys in a way, like the year Mario Maker won, you know? So I feel like if someone else is going to try to do that to like advance their agenda of like Dream Daddy or whatever it was, it's like, all right, fair, I guess. That's the way the game's played. But on the listening end, like, that's just not what I'm here for the show for.
Yeah.
Those are podcasts I would go back to and listen over and over again and just, like, hear the ebbs and flows of, like, the summary of the year and be like, oh, yeah, I never did play that and whatever. At the time when that came out, I was playing, like, Metroid Prime. I was like,
okay.
I'll have some nice background stuff while I'm playing Metroid Prime, and it was getting so angry.
Yeah,
I was like, this is ruining Metroid Prime. This is terrible.
Turns into a nightmare.
So, yeah, that was kind of a big like jumping off point again, like jumping off the wagon, I guess.
Yep.
And then for a while there, I was kind of going to their YouTube stuff. They would have kind of these more isolated like sections of stuff, because when Cyberpunk came out, I was really curious what it was about, because it seemed like a weird, intriguing thing that was kind of janky and people liked it but hated it and all this stuff. So I wanted to see what that was about. So that was probably the last like big thing I was looking to Giant Bomb for. And then the big kind of split offs started happening with like Nextlander forming, which I tried to get into for a little while, but I just wasn't caring enough about their contemporary video game angle. I just don't know. It wasn't my interest zone anymore.
Sure.
I generally like those guys, especially Alex and Vinny.
Okay.
But I don't know. Something about a regular like game podcast, I'd fallen out of that habit at that point, so I didn't get back into it. I am probably more excited and intrigued about Jeff's standalone show, because that stuff I cared about more. I'm only partway through one of them, and they're big, long 3-hour rambles.
Yeah.
But that's probably where I'm going to end up on that spectrum, is just going to that dude, because that's the dude I was listening to for a long time. And I felt he was kind of one of several voices at Giant Bomb that was getting drowned out by people I didn't like. So those last few years, I wasn't really happy with where things were going. So yeah, his name is Jeff Backlor, and I don't like that guy. So that's really that was the end of Giant Bomb for me.
Sure.
Was putting him in a more central role.
Yeah.
It's like, what is happening?
I guess he's really central now. Huh?
I know. He's the guy now. He's the Jeff of Giant Bomb, which is high blasphemy. That's high treason. So I'm
punishable by death.
or bitching on a podcast for sure. He's definitely punishable by that.
Sure. So you are interested in, I get he's just calling it the Jeff Gerstmann show, which makes sense.
The Jeff Gerstmann show.
It makes sense.
He's selling boner pills on there.
That
it's weird.
That was definitely the big oh right, he's not part of a organization anymore. So
yeah,
his one advert is just it's hot out there, makes you want to fuck. It's just Jesus Christ, Jeff.
Yeah. But that's on brand, I guess, for that dude. So I was okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably where I'm going to go for that, and let him build up a bit of a catalog for me to play Recore while I'm listening to it or something. Just kind of zone out and fight monsters or something while I'm listening.
I feel weirdly validated, because there was a feeling where it's just this isn't fun to watch, listen and watch anymore. And obviously they were thinking the same thing, because they all kind of broke off whenever, I'm assuming when their contracts were up or whatever.
Post Red Media Ventures or
their buyout or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it sucks, because since 2003 or something, I've been listening to that guy talk about video games in some capacity, and he's been pretty important to my interests, even when he differs, and he differs a lot.
Yeah.
He thinks Red Dead's hot garbage, and that's some of my favorite stuff. And the Souls games he's really hot or cold on.
Yeah.
He was saying Tunic is way better than Elden Ring, or essentially. And maybe it is. I don't know. But, I haven't checked it out yet. Looks cute. I saw a little fox running around with his sword, and I was like, that's great.
Yeah.
But I'm more feverishly excited about the Elden Ring. That looks like my wheelhouse all over the place.
I mean, Jeff has never been a Souls person, so that makes sense that he would think
kind of like Bloodborne, but yeah. Do you have a gaming people that you who are your gaming voices out there, or is it because you guys are doing it, you don't need any kind of thing?
It's not that because we're doing it I don't need one. It's because we're doing it I don't want one, because I don't want to be a puppet for
a parrot or something, right?
Yeah.
I did get really self-conscious about that at some point when I was doing the show in like 2012, because I was like, oh God, I'm like listening to the Destructoid show and Giant Bomb, and maybe there was one other at that point, like Mega 64, I guess, would periodically talk about games. So then it's just like, dude, we just talked about like the exact same stories. Like I feel like an idiot. Like we're just doing like I can't like not think about their thoughts now if I'm hearing these. But I was a janitor at the time and I needed like something to fill the headspace. So I was like, I guess I gotta get into rap albums. I just had to pivot over to listening to more music. Instead of immersing myself in hours and hours of stuff.
So I do have people I listen to right now, but their podcast airs on Sunday, and we've already done ours for the week. So like, it feels like anytime that they like do something.
So unless some hot news broke on Saturday and they're going to talk about it,
then and they focus more on like Twitch and streaming as well as PC gaming. It's like literally everything we don't talk about on TDP, because nobody that listens to TDP gives a fuck about any of that shit. So like, there's not a whole lot of crossover on that Venn diagram. So I do have kind of like a little group I listen to that do their thing, but it's the opposite feeling of, because we did our show earlier in the week, it feels like they're puppeting what we said. So I'm like, yeah, this is fine. Or sometimes they'll give more insight that I didn't think of, and it's kind of interesting just being like, oh yeah, that's cool, I didn't actually think of that.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, no, it works out.
Do you want to call them out, like, or do you want to keep it a secret?
No, fuck them.
Oh, okay.
People should be listening to TDP. Their show is called Dropped Frames, is the name of it.
Okay.
And yeah, I've been listening and watching them for a few years, but I stopped with Giant Bomb. Jeff Gersman specifically, I tried to jump back in with, because he's definitely having more fun, and that makes me,
there's an acerbic quality I find really funny. Like when he hates something, I find it funny and don't get like too upset about it. You know, like it's
because at the end of the day, I kind of don't care what his opinion on something I like is, because generally
it rarely dictates what I'm gonna get sucked into. So
but his podcasts are just too long for me. I feel like I'm drowning, because like I'm on like episode 2, an hour and a half in, and there's like 3 more, and they're all like 3 to 4 hours or something. I'm like, fuck.
It's sort of nutty to me that it's like one guy for 3 hours. It's like the ultimate jar time video or his old achievements show. But those were like 45 minutes, and I was watching those. Yeah. But it was... I was watching those with like a DS or something.
Sure.
It was all, but it's like, oh God, 3 hours. It's like I would have it on when I was like folding some laundry or something. And it's like, all right, still got 2 hours and 20 minutes left after several weeks. So I have more than enough. And then it's still about stuff I'm super out of touch with, like modern rumors and like free to plays and live games and stuff that I'm just like, oh God, I just downloaded RuneScape. I'm like, I'm gonna throw back to my old days.
There's somebody that listens to like everything we do. He'll be listening to this for sure. He this week has also said that he's started playing old school RuneScape, and is there a reason? Why are people going back right now to old?
I loved RuneScape for a couple years there, mostly because it's like, medieval RPG or whatever, but you could just hang out in a mill and make pizzas. That was awesome. I just loved clicking and doing that.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And you level up your recipes.
Yo, let's play together.
Like you start
let's
with you can only make
company.
cheese pizza. I hope that's still in there, because that's all I want to do. But it's like you like kind of make one and it's like, oh, you screwed up, you burnt that pizza, so you don't get any experience for that one. It's like, all right, oh sick, you successfully made a cheese pizza, you got some experience. I don't know, something about it was awesome. And then, you go on a quest and there's cool armor types and whatever. The thing that was like the big thing for me was it was on Steam and it was just downloadable. I don't have to go to some weird Eastern European website that's like Java supported and make sure like I wasn't confident in the security of Jagex anymore past a certain point. Now that it's like just like an executable, it's like somehow feels way safer. So I was like, oh, good. And it's only like 4 gigs because it's Jaffa. Like, it's real low quality looking stuff. Oh, you know what? Wow, I kind of spaced on a thing because I thought I'd bring it up in relation to Berserk, but I didn't. I think part of the reason why I'm back in the RuneScape mindset is I finally played Dungeons and Dragons, like with a group of people
in person.
Finally played the OG in person. Yep. We had 2 meetings. We did the Tomb of Horrors, and it was good times. I really screwed up at the end. I thought I could kill a Sararact as a rhinoceros. Because I was like, hey, I'm a druid. I'm a big, burly rhinoceros. Who could live after I do that? The Sararact, he's really powerful.
Yeah.
He wasn't even there. He was puppeteering some skull or something. He ate my soul. It was a bummer, but the most of it was really great. It was, and then it was kind of a cool, like, old school mindset or something of just like every video game I play, every like Souls game, every Final Fantasy, every Elder Scrolls, you scale up to the point where you can just punch God in the face and he dies. Yeah. Because you got Ultima or whatever. Yeah. This is just like, oh no, you live to fight another day. You should have left. Like, you got the loot. That thing was just toying with you with this dungeon. It was like a crazy jigsaw puzzle that you made it through. Yeah. And you did not die. You succeeded. You should have known to leave. Yeah. And I didn't. I was like, I'm going to kill that fucker. And I totally didn't. But my pet, Murphy, survived, my orangutan. So I hope he lives to fight another day and returns to the tomb to avenge my death. But it was really fun. So, yeah, that was kind of like a big milestone game, I guess.
Has it given you the bug?
Finally,
have you been like looking into... Okay, first question, actually. When you were building your character, did you just like start looking shit up online, just like, oh, that's cool, or this is kind of neat, or kind of theory crafting?
I had a friend, like the DM really helped me build my character because it's kind of like we needed to be really set up and fairly high leveled. Like, we were kind of presets in a way, but we could play around with that. Yep. If I'm gonna make a normal character to join the normal campaign they run, I will have to put more thought into it. I think the thing that was making me go like, oh dude, was some of the monster manual stuff. Just seeing some of the dumbass creatures they've created.
They're so good.
Was just like, dude, I've never seen this thing in a video game or anything. This thing, it's like a bird with no wings but giant ass legs. Was just there. It's like, what a thing. What a stupid thing. It's not like an emu or an ostrich. It's just like a bird that has evolved to have just a big old beak and like scratching legs. It looked hilarious. I don't remember what it's called, but that thing made me just start thinking about like getting a monster manual and really looking at it. And I kept wanting to be more confident in what wild shapes I could do. Like what creatures I could turn into and stuff. I kept having to refer to a thing.
Did you buy the books then?
That thing's,
or any of them?
Not as of yet.
Okay.
But it's in the ether. I think I need to clarify what edition they all mostly play, because this was kind of an old school throwback. 3.5 is what we did. Okay. But that's because he was porting like a version 1 like dungeon to the future a little bit. It's like a classic Gygax dungeon that he made, but trying to modernize it just a little bit so it's not as punishing in a way that's like unplayable. Sure. We could have died so many ways though, and a couple of us did, especially at the end. It got real bad. But
well, they re-released Tomb of Horrors in 5e like recently.
Okay. 4 or 5 years ago. I think they wanted, I guess, a kind of mix of old-fashioned some of that mentality still in there. Sure. I don't know.
I think it worked out great. Version 2. I think that was Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Maybe you're right. It's probably 2. Yeah. But Gary was still alive and doing great stuff. So yeah, it was fun. So yeah, that's kind of the medieval thing. I guess that was kind of the central point of that area of interest for me. So on my own, RuneScaping. I might be able to get something that I need there in the meantime between organizing it. Like it is true. The organizing like 10 people's schedules is the real battle.
That's the game. The game is getting a bunch of people to do a thing for. Yeah, I don't know if you guys had a hard stopping time, but like anytime we did it, we were always said like it'll be like 3 hours or whatever. It ended up being 5 or 6. It was like a fucking full night thing.
We needed like 10 per session. Yeah. And the second one did have kind of like, it's kind of what helped motivate my dumbass decision to charge the boss.
Yeah. We needed an
was end. Like, ooh, dude said he's got to leave at 10:30. It is 10:25. We
go in.
Shit.
Yeah.
And then like my failure with like a super hard hit was like, okay, we cannot kill this thing. Like a rhino just hit it. It didn't do anything. So we got to get out of here. So then the rest of the party smartly left, but then tried one more thing and a head exploded. It was gnarly.
Cool.
But yeah, even then it went to like 11:20 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it spilled over. And then the only dismay in the post thing was like, I kind of wish we could have hung out for like another hour to talk about
afterwards.
It.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah. So, oh well.
That afterglow is so good when you can talk about the cool shit that you guys did or the dumb shit it sounds like you guys did.
Yeah, and my friend Jordan, who was the DM, was able to kind of like pull the curtain a little bit and be like, "Oh, there was just garbage in that chest. You wouldn't. That wasn't the thing.
Yeah,
you would have opened that and found like 15,000 gold or something. But then once you walk away, it turns into copper. It's like a trick treasure.
Nice.
So, yeah. Tons of little things that were left unturned or whatever. In fact, I kind of want to ask him about this one weird hallway we ran into that had like a tilting spike pit, but maybe there was something beyond, but we just kind of chickened out and found another path anyway.
Yeah.
So like, was there some dope shit back there? Like, why was there a voice? Like, yeah, I don't know.
So
it was fun.
The thing that I found addicting, there was a while there where it felt like every week we were doing like a one shot or something with that thing. The thing that's addicting that you don't get in video games and like it's hard to turn off when you're kind of in that mode is you don't have a AI, like a computer directing where you're going or like any of that sort of thing. So because of that, you can literally do whatever you want. And that is all based on how good your DM is to like roll with the punches.
Yeah, he was very accommodating with our dumbass ideas.
Yeah,
and like you can carry that statue around. That's fine.
Sure,
you can do that. But you just kind of have to do some reflex rolls or something or whatever, like just to kind of accommodate some dumb things.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so it's more dynamic, I guess, than because you'll run into stuff with a video game where you're just like, oh, I guess there's no reflections in this game, or like, oh, the water doesn't react that way or whatever. Like it just doesn't account for certain things that you wanted to do, and that always kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I guess I'm impressed when a video game can account for a bunch of different paths. That's kind of what's cool about these two RPGs I'm playing right now is they at least try to do some of that.
Totally. Yeah.
But having a dynamic person being able to improvise with you, like the lasso throw you're gonna do on this flying thing or whatever, like it's like, yeah, sure, fine.
Yeah,
we'll make it work. But yeah, so yeah, we oh god, just triggering dumb traps in weird ways and like trying to do a blood sacrifice on this altar that then exploded and killed a guy that we were escorting. Like we had this like young character, like level 1 guy that we were trying to like, oh, break his adventure cherry. We'll get him out there. He's gonna return from the Tomb of Horrors a hero.
Yeah.
And then he got like electrocuted and then we had 2 means of bringing him back, but before we could do that, our barbarian like cut him open and threw him on a thing and then he evaporated. So I probably could have reincarnated him, but I didn't. And then I died. So that was off the table. But yeah, it's great. Like there's a reason it's still around, and it can do all sorts of different things that like hopefully Elder Scrolls 6 can get some percentage of it. But what are they doing? Is Starfield first
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Wouldn't it be the same teams? Like,
I don't know that they've even started work on 6.
Why did they show that logo a couple years ago? Don't even do that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
At some point with each of these like re-releases of Skyrim, I don't understand why they're just like, hey, there's a new expansion coming to Skyrim. There's like a new thing.
Right.
Like why don't they just like throw a small team at something. Making something?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is going on? But oh well. Those are great too, but it's different.
Yeah, for sure. But
all right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. Yeah. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. I figured it would be kind of nice to just... We haven't had a really, like, long talk between us even off air, like, in a while, so...
I guess that's true, yeah. Like, TDP is kind of a more focused show. We can't just, like, wander all about...
About everything.
The same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, no, it's good to catch up. So, hopefully, whoever's listening enjoyed the recap.
Yeah,
and tune in for the sumo. I don't know what's coming out. Going Berserk, available every week.
Well, funny you should say that because I don't know when my co-host for that is coming back from his vacation. We finished the Golden Age arc, so like we stopped off at a decent point to have a week or two off.
Okay.
The big thing happened, but I have to figure. I might just do a weird like 10-minute monologue on my thoughts overall so far as an episode.
To be clear, it's like each episode is a whole book, right? Like a whole volume.
Well, we've been splitting it up into what are decent stopping points. So sometimes that bleeds into another volume.
Sure.
But
that's true. Yeah, they'll kind of like end an arc and then start teasing up some stuff.
Yeah.
For you to buy the next one. Dark Horse Comics or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's been cool. It's
initially when I was like, no, I knew you were doing a show and I was reading it. I was like, is it like each issue? Because like sometimes there's really not that many events happen, but I guess you could belabor them or really talk about that one look that Griffith gave that guy or whatever.
Yeah,
but there wasn't a big fight in that or anything.
It's been interesting trying to. I don't think we've ever, like, you and I definitely haven't done a podcast on a visual medium that like you read at your own pace and like you kind of put yourself in like a reading thing, right?
Yeah.
So like it's been interesting to kind of learn how to talk about a comic or a manga in a way that is both, because like he's experienced, my co-host has experienced it before, so this is a revisit for him, and he's kind of like my Sherpa through like some thoughts and stuff like that. This is mainly about like me experiencing it as a newcomer to like all of this sort of thing.
Oh, so you have like some wild speculations or something, and he knows if those come to fruition or not.
That's the idea. The problem is because of how recording goes. Sometimes I usually like just read ahead, and we would split it up into a bunch of episodes.
Oh, okay.
But like the idea is I want to be like, this is what happened this week, blah 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 blah. I wonder if this is gonna happen. This, and I guess we'll find out later. Peace. But that's not how
I sort of feel bad like reading some of the battle scenes and stuff, because it's just like this probably took so long to draw this giant splash and all this, but like there's only so much narrative content here.
Yeah.
So it's just like, all right, I'll tilt my iPad and go like, that's a big ass castle. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. And it's like, well, like there were so many soldiers and
yeah,
I know, but I don't know what else to look at
in depth about some of those panels, and just like picking out like almost like a Where's Waldo or something, like, oh, look at, like, you can see that guy's like head flying in that like little part, or like just stuff that maybe
or a
you
blow
didn't
by
see.
blow of a battle or something, because there's definitely like, oh shit, that guy died. Okay, let me go back. Oh yeah, I guess he cut him across the chest. I missed that was what was happening.
Yeah.
It's a very frenetic, like action-packed situation, but it's hard to convey that in still frames.
Totally.
I guess.
I was also,
not that they're not doing a great job. It's just sometimes I'm missing out on the flow. But yeah.
I was also saying in one of the things that like a lot of the times there's a kinetic energy to how you read that thing, like just jumping from panel to panel because it's like an action thing and it makes sense to quickly to kind of get like almost a cinematic feel of what you're reading on the page in still frames. And then after that is done, I will actually go back and take a closer look just for stuff. And I think that's because we're creating content of some sort on it.
See if you can notice some little details or whatnot. Yeah.
So it's
did they change how Casca looks as they go on?
No.
Like I feel like the very first time you see her though, she's like basically looks like Guts but smaller, you know. And then her lips and her skin tone kind of change a little bit as it goes on. This is like the third issue, but maybe I'm crazy. I'd have to download it again.
Yeah, no, I don't think so, but. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
She seems fine. It's just it's tough being a woman on the battlefield.
She's one of my favorite characters, and
there's other considerations.
It's a real shame some of the stuff she goes through. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
No, I'm sure dark things are coming up for a lot of people.
It's a shame what all of them go through. They all go through some bad shit. So yeah.
Oh, that one Hawkeye though, he's such an asshole. Jeez. A comic character.
Corcus.
Yeah.
He's an absolute piece of shit.
What is that guy about?
Yeah.
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 It's just like, I guess he's kind of comic relief character in a way, but he's just such a chode.
He's such a piece of shit. Yeah. Yep.
But I never liked you. It's like, what? He probably saved you. Whatever.
Yeah. Like, not even probably. Definitely.
You would have died so many times.
Totally. Yep.
But
yeah, because where you just stopped reading now, he was the worst at that part. Yeah, that's true.
He was being a real shithead about it.
Yeah.
There's just little stuff too where it's like I'll turn a page and be like, oh shit, I like basically fought a boss in that room. There was the hallway they fight Nosferatu Zod in.
Yeah.
Feels like some of the Bloodborne created dungeons or whatever, like the cups or whatever, the chalices.
Yeah.
There's like a couple chalice hallways that are a lot like that.
Sure.
It's just like, I wonder if they looked at that. They probably did. I bet they did.
100%. Have you seen the dark sign yet?
Well, like the Guts' symbol on his hand?
No, from Dark Souls, the dark sign. You'll see it.
Yeah.
It's eventually.
It's basically in there.
It's there.
There's like literally a frame where they use the phrase Dark Souls. And I just was like, oh, well, there it is. Like, it's right there.
Yeah.
Vargas got his revenge, kind of. That was great. But
yeah.
that guy. The Count or whatever. What is he? The big fat guy? Like, he's basically in... Was it Bloodborne or Dark Souls 3? He's like a dead body, like a Covenant. Looks almost exactly like him.
Sure, yeah. There is so much... It's crazy.
If you like Dark Souls, you should probably read this.
Like totally, yeah.
80s manga.
Totally.
It seems to have come from there.
Yep.
And if you like the Hellraiser sequels, no, I don't know. Kind of.
Yeah.
2 specifically has, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm excited for you to read more about it because I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on specific parts that happen later. But yeah.
Okay. Good. Well, thanks for putting it out there. Going Berserk. Available now.
Going Berserk. How do you like the name? I came up with it out of nowhere.
I guess so. It uses the font from this thing, and then it's got
Going
Berserk. Red.
Yeah. And we have an email address there because I had to create one for RSS reasons or whatever. So that is ihavegoneberserk@gmail.com.
Perfect. I'm surprised it wasn't taken.
Everything else was, which is why it's I have gone.
Oh, like Berserk was gone.
All of it was gone. Yep.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, it's weird. It's kind of like you just start seeing evidence of it and things about it in other places now that I know what to look for.
Everywhere.
I've probably heard people allude to this. I've probably seen characters modeled after this.
Yep.
Created characters and shit. Like I was saying, the Dark Souls channel, I don't know, Zuli the Witch. Have you found them at any point? They're doing tons of Elden Ring stuff right now, so I can't even watch it. It would spoil stuff.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's kind of hacking around with the assets and looking at stuff and speculating about the creative process.
Okay.
It's pretty fun. Helped with Dark Souls 3 like enjoyment. But yeah, they brought up like playing Dark Souls 2 and how there were so many characters modeled, like just gutses everywhere, like online.
Sure.
It's like, I guess there would have been. I haven't successfully played one of those games online, like,
yeah, since
Demons, maybe. It's been a long time.
We played Dark Souls 1 together on stream.
We did on Steam. 360, I was not gold at that point, so I couldn't do that, and that's where I spent a lot of time with it.
Are you currently?
I am a gold subscriber? No,
that's what I figured. Yeah.
No, I don't need it. My 360 is dead. But yeah, no, and then I guess all the servers kind of died when Elden Ring was coming out, like Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne. I wasn't subscribed to PlayStation at that point, so maybe that was still up.
Oh, okay.
But Dark Souls 3 has been, because it's not gated by anything. It's just the Steam version, so I could have played online and wanted to.
Yeah.
Because it would have made me not have to harvest Silver Knights for 50 years to get those Concord Kepts.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That was the worst stuff that happened in that game. Was the drop rate on those seemed broken, and I hated it. I still like that game, but I probably lowered it a little bit.
Just because of
by
that.
having to do that.
Yeah.
It's like proof of Concord Kept. God damn. Anyway. Yeah, offline harvesting is not the same as like battling and going toe to toe with people. So I really wish I could have done that.
Totally. Yeah. I get that.
So yeah, hopefully I can get on board the Elden train before that's pulled out of the station. It seemed like such a massive undertaking. They probably don't have something ready to go in the near future, right?
I thought they were supposed to announce something like soonish, and people are like Elden Ring 2, and it's just like, it's not going to be Elden Ring 2. Are you fucking crazy? People are speculating Bloodborne 2, but I mean, of course.
Bloodborne is really good. I don't know. I don't think you ended up not loving it as much, right?
Right.
I don't know. Something about it eventually. Once I cracked the seal on it, figured it out, I hated it for like a while. But once I really liked it.
You bounced off it pretty hard, if I remember. The first time.
Yeah, I kept trying to like threaded cane action and whatever. I was doing real bad.
Yeah.
But then I after I'd played it, I started playing with that character and I was like, oh, thread cane's dope. I was just an idiot. I didn't understand how this works.
Sure.
But yeah, I think that's right up there with my favorites, because I just like the horror stuff they're playing with. The creature designs are so messed up.
Yeah.
And then the blood level stuff is just great. Like, more violence flying around fits the tone of those so well. So yeah, that one's maybe number 2 to Dark Souls 1, just because that was the first one I loved, but it's hard to say.
Dark Souls 1 always has a special place in my heart, for sure, for a bunch of different reasons.
That was the breakthrough one. I had played Demons before, but I fully didn't understand that game. Like, I loaded up my old save and I was like, what the hell was I doing?
Yep.
I clearly played 20 hours of it and didn't level up at all. I just kept spending my souls on other shit. It was embarrassing seeing it. I don't know. And I've dug myself in such a pit in that playthrough. I don't know that I can fix it.
Oh, is it that bad?
I was trying to like get him around it, but it's just like, dude, this is busted. But it would be easier to start over.
Sure.
But I kind of want to make good on that save because it's something dumb about it. Anyway.
Yeah.
And there you go. From Software. Check it out. That guy got a sword because he played it so much. That was kind of cool. But yeah.
Yeah. I think that'll do it, though. I think that was a nice catch up. The Berserk talk came out of nowhere, and I did not expect that at all.
Yeah, I almost spilled the beans that I was reading it a couple days ago. It was like, I'll keep that in my pocket.
Yeah.
So
that was kind of fun.
It's quite.
That's kind of been like my universe for a while now. So like I'm very interested in chatting about that at any point right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Calgary Public Library, they got it. I actually hope people don't start using Excel, making it harder for me to borrow them, because it's been effortless so far. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you're local, hey, don't borrow them.
Yeah. Wait until the next episode when we say it's cool.
Yeah. I'll give you the all clear when it's okay to borrow those mangas.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Maybe they have a bunch of copies. I don't know, but okay.
So, yep, that's a nice, good long one. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.
Take that, Matt Reeves. It's like 20 minutes longer. Anyway, than the Batman.